Chapter 179. What you said is not without reason. The old man thought about it and felt that Ningyu wasn't lying. After all, with Ningyu's cultivation at the peak of the Xiantian realm, it was impossible for his sea of consciousness to hold so much energy. However, the old man's face sank once more. Even though it's impossible for you to absorb so much energy, you can use a magic treasure to absorb it. The old man knew very well that it wasn't difficult for some magic treasures that surpassed the heaven rank to absorb all the energy in the pool. Senior, you can't wrongly accuse me. Ningyu shrugged. If I had such a powerful magic treasure, I would have broken through to the true martial realm a long time ago. How could I still be at the peak of the Xiantian realm? Swoosh! In the next moment, the old man unleashed his aura and flashed towards Ningyu. His powerful senses were constantly searching for something on Ningyu's body. Ningyu hurriedly guarded his mind and hid the pendant in the whirlpool. Really? A moment later, the old man withdrew his aura and senses, frowned slightly, and muttered, "Did the energy in the pool really vanish into thin air?" Ningyu stood on the spot and didn't say anything. A moment later, the old man spoke indifferently. "Forget it. I will naturally investigate this matter. Now you can fight Suwui. If you can defeat Suwui, I will give you the token to enter the Tower of Skysplit and allow you to enter the 10th floor. If you can't defeat Suwui." At this point, the black-robed old man paused for a moment before he continued. "Then fuck off to wherever you came from and stop wasting my time." Swish! As soon as he finished speaking, the old man's figure flashed, and he merged into the void and vanished. Ningyu took a step forward, and the energy in his sea of consciousness surged out and converged on the surface of his body. Shu Yi's expression turned slightly cold when he saw the wild and violent Yuan power around Ningyu. Soon after, his body jerked and began to swell. Numerous pitch-black lightning energy continuously surged out. Void Thunder Fist. Void one fist blasted out, and immediately a whistling wind spread out, directly rushing towards Ningyu. Teisho Kenpo. Narrowing his eyes, Ningyu took out the broken soul sword. Violent Yuan Qi wrapped around it, and he immediately sent out a shocking sword wave. After this shocking sword wave blasted out, it blasted into the void at an astonishing speed. Hiss! However, just as the Teisho Kenpo was about to hit Shu Yi's fist, Shu Yi stopped in midair. The next moment, Nihility's fist turned into a palm and he grabbed at the void. Then he grabbed a pitch-black thunderbolt in his hand and flung it at Teisho Kenpo. Hiss! The thunderbolt collided with the Teisho Kenpo, and a sizzling sound erupted. Then, the thunderbolt dissipated into the void. He's actually so strong. Seeing that Teisho Kenpo had been easily broken by Shu Yi, Ningyu's expression turned ugly. He could not help but take a few steps back. Although the Teisho Kenpo was not his strongest move at the moment, Shu Yi had easily broken it. This was something that Ningyu had not expected. Phantom Armor. With a thought, the Phantom Armor appeared, and Ningyu's speed skyrocketed. The Yuan Qi in his sea of consciousness gathered on his palms, and he sent out several palm prints. The palm prints, which were almost solid, lined up in a row and instantly arrived in front of Shu Yi. Faced with these palm prints, Shu Yi clearly did not take them seriously. He flicked his finger, and a cold thunderbolt shot out. Then it expanded and finally collided with the palm prints that Ningyu had sent out. Swoosh! The moment the thunderbolt and the palm prints collided, Ningyu's expression changed. This was because he saw that the palm prints that he had sent out had actually been swallowed by the thunderbolt. If this is all you've got, I'm sorry. After the attack, Shu Yi's body turned into a shadow, and he instantly appeared beside Ningyu. Then a fist gradually expanded in front of Ningyu's eyes, and finally, it violently smashed into Ningyu's chest. Underworld dominating palm. Naturally, Ningyu would not sit and wait for death. In a split second, he wrapped his soul power around his palm, and in an instant he sent out a palm print. The underworld dominating palm was the fourth palm of the netherworld samsara palm, and it was extremely powerful. Ning, you had already advanced to the pinnacle of the Xiantian realm. Coupled with the dark overlord palm that was executed with his late-stage, fourth-grade soul power, even a powerful martial artist like Su Wuyi would have a change in expression the moment he saw the dark overlord palm. However, Shu Wuyi was a peerless genius after all. Although he was a little afraid, he did not retreat. His fist couldn't be avoided, and it collided with Ning Yu's underworld dominating palm. Pa! When the two collided, a low, muffled sound was heard. Then, a terrifying shock wave spread out from the point of impact. 9 clear sword wave. In the next instant, Ning Yu mobilized the two cyclones' origin energy to wrap around the soul-breaking sword. Under Shu Yi's shocked gaze, the sword stabbed out. At this moment, Ning Yu displayed his strongest move. The Supreme 9 Clear Sword Art's fourth move, 9 Clear Sword Wave. Supreme 9 Clear Sword Art? In a hidden space, 2 old men were sitting on stone benches. If Ning Yu was here, he would have noticed that the black-robed old man was there. Looking at the crystal on the wall, the black-robed old man wondered, is Ning Yu from the Supreme 9 Purities Temple? Above the crystal, Shu Yi and Ning Yu's every move could be seen clearly. Even their voices could be heard. This Ning Yu is not simple. Shu Yi is not his opponent. As soon as the black-robed old man finished speaking, the other gray-robed old man said, "He is indeed using the Supreme 9 Clear Sword Art. Moreover, it is the fourth move, 9 Clear Sword Wave. I have already increased Shu Yi's strength to the 9th level. If Ning Yu wants to defeat him, I'm afraid it will be very difficult, right?" The black-robed old man frowned. Haha, Ning Yu's strength is not limited to this. Smiling faintly, the gray-robed old man said, "You can give him the token to enter the tower. Who knows, he might bring us a pleasant surprise." The black-robed old man didn't quite believe the gray-robed old man's words. However, he didn't dare to refute him directly. After all, the gray-robed old man was the 10th level's challenger. He was also the tower's guardian. "That's right, I don't know who absorbed all the energy in the medicinal liquid pool." Thinking for a moment, the black-robed old man said, "In your opinion, could it be Ning Yu?" "You don't need to worry about this. Go to the 9th level now. When Ning Yu defeats Shu Yi, don't make things difficult for him. Just send him here." Waving his hand, the gray-robed old man said, "It's been a long time since I've seen a cultivator with such powerful acquired talent. I also want to see if he's really someone from the Zenith 9 Purities Palace. If he's—" At this point, the gray-robed old man suddenly shut his mouth and slowly closed his eyes. Since the gray-robed old man had put it this way, the black-robed old man didn't ask anymore. His figure flashed, and he flew toward the 9th level of the tower. Chapter 180. Boom! On the 9th floor of the ivory tower, Ning Yu's face darkened. The yuan qi in the 6 cyclones in his sea of knowledge rushed out and floated around his body. Shwa! Then, Ning Yu held the soul-breaking sword in his hand and quickly swung it. As Ning Yu brandished the breaking soul sword, the essence energy around him surged into the breaking soul sword in a berserk manner. 9 Purities, Sword Art. As soon as he shouted, a wave of sword energy suddenly formed, and then it gradually expanded in Shu Yi's eyes. Pa 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 pa. Then 9 muffled sounds rang out, and the sword wave split into 9. When it was 10 centimeters away from Shu Yi, it suddenly exploded. The powerful shock wave continued to spread in all directions. Su Lei! Faced with such a powerful sword wave explosion, Shu Yi's face changed, and he quickly moved his fist. However, as soon as he raised his fist, he was struck in the chest by a piercingly cold shock wave, and his body was sent flying. Pucci! After spitting out a mouthful of blood, Shu Yi struggled to stand up. "Ning Yu, you are very strong. I look forward to the next time we fight." As soon as he said this, Shu Yi's body gradually became illusory. In the end, he directly disappeared. Shua. The moment Shu Yi's body disappeared, the surrounding space was torn apart and the black-robed elder appeared in front of Ningyu. "What? You defeated Shu Yi?" Standing in front of Ningyu and looking at the blood on the ground, the black-robed elder's eyes widened and his face was full of disbelief. The strength of Shu Yi on the 9th floor of the Ivory Tower is equivalent to at least 2 peak true martial realm martial artists. You actually defeated him? The black-robed elder knew very well that although Shu Yi was not at his peak, his strength was not to be underestimated. At the very least, it was impossible for 2 peak true martial realm martial artists to defeat Shu Yi. Moreover, Ningyu's condition was clearly very good. He did not look like he had just fought a big battle. Could it be that Ningyu's strength was really as the gray-robed elder said? When he thought up to this point, the black-robed old man said in a low voice, "Very good. So it turns out that you've been concealing your strength. You defeated Shu Yi without anyone noticing." Xiao. Saying this, the black-robed elder took out a black token and threw it to Ningyu. Catching the black token, Ningyu frowned and said, "Senior, when we arrive at Skysplit Tower, can I enter as long as I hand over this token?" "That's right. When the tower opens, there will be someone guarding the entrance. If you hand over the token, they will let you in," the black-robed elder said lightly. Then, the black-robed elder once again used his perception to search Ningyu's body, hoping to find some clues. But unfortunately, 10 minutes later, the black-robed elder withdrew his perception because he did not find anything suspicious on Ningyu's body. Moreover, Ningyu's current condition was very good. He was full of energy. Even if another Shu Yi came, he might still be able to defeat him. What a freak! The black-robed elder thought. If Ningyu knew what the black-robed elder was thinking, he would definitely be speechless. Defeating Shu Yi had cost him 10 cyclones origin chi. In other words, there were only 2 cyclones left in his knowledge, that had sufficient origin chi. The rest had all been used up. Chi. The next moment, the black-robed elder grasped at the void and a vortex slowly appeared. "Go in. Inside is the 10th floor of the tower." The black-robed elder pointed at the vortex. "Senior, the 10th floor of the tower." Ouch! Seeing the vortex, Ningyu frowned slightly. Just as he was about to ask a question, he felt a force on his butt and fell directly into the vortex. "Why do you talk so much nonsense? I told you to go in, so go in. How many people want to enter the 10th floor of the tower but can't?" The black-robed elder curled his lips and withdrew his right foot. Then his figure flashed and he disappeared. Buzz! On the 10th floor of the tower, the space squirmed and a crack appeared. Swoosh! Immediately after, a figure flew out from the crack and fell to the ground, falling face first into the mud. Pfft, what bad luck! Don't let me meet you, or else I'll make you. Climbing up from the ground, Ningyu patted the dust off his body. Before he could finish speaking, he saw a gray-robed elder strangely appear in front of him. After seeing the gray-robed elder, Ningyu forcibly stopped speaking and asked hesitantly, "May I ask who you are, senior?" From the gray-robed elder, Ningyu did not feel even the slightest fluctuation of yuan qi. However, Ningyu did not think that the gray-robed elder was someone without martial arts cultivation. After all, even the black-robed cultivator on the 9th floor of the tower might not be able to appear in front of him silently. "Haha, I am the examiner of this floor." The gray-robed elder smiled slightly and said, "Who did you say you didn't want to meet?" Ningyu scratched his head awkwardly and said, "It's just a joke. Since the gray-robed elder was the examiner of this floor, he might know the black-robed elder. Ningyu was not stupid. He would not speak ill of someone else's friend in someone else's territory. Well, Actually, you have already passed the test of this floor. The gray-robed elder waved his hand and closed the crack in midair. Then he said, "Since you can defeat nothingness on the 9th floor of the ivory tower, then the test of this floor will not be difficult for you at all. Don't mention it." The assessment on the 10th floor of the ivory tower could not be considered simple, as one had to defeat a martial artist at the peak of the true martial realm. With Ning Yu's performance on the 9th floor of the ivory tower, it would not be difficult to pass the test of this floor. Any martial artist who has passed the 10th floor of the ivory tower can cultivate in the ivory space for a day, the gray-robed elder said. The ivory space? What is that place? Ning Yu asked doubtfully. With a smile, the gray-robed elder said, the ivory space is a time-space. The passage of time inside is extremely slow. Let me put it this way. 1 month in the outside world is 1 day inside. Swish! Hearing this, Ningyu was shocked. A space like this that could reduce the passage of time was very precious. If one was not a direct disciple of a sect, it was basically impossible to enter it, to cultivate. He had never met the gray-robed elder before. Logically speaking, the gray-robed elder would not leave such a precious opportunity for him. Perhaps he had seen through Ning Yu's doubts. The gray-robed elder explained, "You do not need to doubt this. The ivory tower was originally built to cultivate the experts of the Sky Demon region. When your cultivation reaches a certain level, you will naturally understand. Since you are the second martial artist to reach the top of the ivory tower, you can cultivate in the ivory space for a day. The second one? The first one was nothingness, right?" Ningyu asked. Nodding, the gray-robed elder said, "Nothingness is a peerless genius. He did reach the 10th floor." "It seems that the rumors outside are not all true," Ningyu mumbled. According to the rumors outside, since the ivory tower was built, only one martial artist had reached the 9th floor, and that was nothingness. Now it seemed that nothingness had also reached the 10th floor. Chapter 181. Why, you don't want to enter the ivory space to train? Seeing Ningyu's expression, the elder asked, "If you don't want to enter the ivory space, I can send you away now." No. 1 day in the ivory space is equivalent to a month's time. How could I not want to go in and train? Ningyu hurriedly said, "I was just wondering if the yuan energy in the ivory space is much denser than the outside world." "Hee. You will know once you enter." With a smile, the elder stomped his feet on the ground, causing it to cave in. Then, a huge stone door slowly rose from the sunken ground and finally appeared in front of Ningyu. Looking at the stone door that was taller than a person, Ningyu was a little dumbfounded. Could this stone door lead to the ivory space? That's right, this stone door leads to the ivory space. The elder pointed at the stone door and said, "Go in, the stone door will naturally eject you after a day." Creak! Then the stone door slowly opened as if someone was pushing it with their hands. After the stone door opened, Ningyu hesitated for a moment, then gritted his teeth and dashed in. Bang! Just as Ningyu entered, the stone door suddenly closed. There is indeed a trace of an old friend's aura on him. As for whether he is her son, I still need to observe. After Ningyu entered the ivory space, the elder sat down cross-legged in front of the stone door and closed his eyes. His senses quietly left the ivory tower. Swoosh! How lively! There are actually 4 to 5 yuan dance stage warriors. Sensing the several powerful auras on the square, the corners of the gray-clothed old man's mouth rose unnaturally. If we let them know that Ningyu didn't make it to the 8th floor, but the 10th floor, I'm afraid some hidden old monsters won't sit idly by, right? Every time a warrior entered the first 8 levels of the ivory tower, that level would flash a few times, and even the 8th level would always be lit. However, even if a martial artist entered the 9th and 10th floors of the ivory tower, it would not flicker. Hence, the numerous martial artists in the plaza only thought that Ningyu made it to the 8th level. They did not know that Ningyu was currently at the 10th level. It seems that they are all here for Ningyu. Fine. When the time comes, I will let Ningyu choose for himself. Sighing softly, the gray-robed elder withdrew his perception and slowly closed his eyes. Hiss! At the same time, in the ivory space, Ningyu opened his mouth slightly and could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. Before entering the ivory space, he had guessed that the density of primordial qi inside would be very high, but he had not expected it to be this high. It was so high that the gaseous vital energy had turned into liquid vital energy. Absorb. Ningyu was not an indecisive person. He immediately sat down with his legs crossed and began to use the spirit transformation technique to absorb the essence qi crazily. When he was fighting with Su Wui, Ningyu had used up the vital energy in 10 cyclones. Now he could use this opportunity to replenish them completely. Compared to the gaseous vital energy, the liquid vital energy was obviously easier to absorb. In just one day, Ningyu had filled up the vital energy in the cyclones. Moreover, he had also changed the vital energy in the remaining 2 cyclones into liquid vital energy. There are still 29 days left. I will first stabilize my cultivation. Then I will try to divide the cyclones again. Because he had advanced to the Xiantian full realm in a hurry, Ningyu had not had the time to stabilize his cultivation. Now was a good opportunity, and he could not miss it. Ningyu knew that he could only continue to divide the cyclones when his cultivation had stabilized at the Xiantian full realm. Otherwise, there was no chance of success. Time flew. In the blink of an eye, Ningyu had stayed in the ivory space for 15 days. On the 16th day, Ningyu opened his eyes and felt the changes in his sea of consciousness. He slowly exhaled a mouthful of turbid qi. Not bad. My cultivation has completely stabilized at the Xiantian full realm. Nodding his head in satisfaction, Ningyu was not in a hurry to divide the cyclones. Instead, he took out the phantom armor. The phantom armor was an earth middle level magic treasure. Ning Hai had once said that if he wanted to upgrade the phantom armor to the earth upper level, he would need at least 1 million high-grade yuan crystals. As for the liquid yuan qi in this space, not to mention 1 million high-grade yuan crystals, even if it was 10 million high-grade yuan crystals, it would still be impossible to have so much yuan qi. Buzz. After taking out the phantom armor, Ningyu exerted his soul force and controlled the phantom armor to burst out with a suction force, sucking the surrounding liquid vital energy into the armor. Crack! With the continuous absorption of the liquid vital energy, the phantom armor made a cracking sound. 1 day later, the phantom armor seemed to be growing bigger. The aura on it had increased to the peak of the earth middle level. 3 days later, the phantom armor had completely grown bigger. Its aura had reached the peak of the earth middle level and was advancing towards the earth upper level. Kacha! On the 5th day, the phantom armor shattered with a loud bang, and a small armor flew out from it. And this small armor's aura had reached the earth upper level. The speed of the earth middle level phantom armor was comparable to a peak middle stage, true martial realm martial artist. The speed of the earth upper level phantom armor was comparable to a peak late stage, true martial realm martial artist. After the phantom armor was upgraded to the earth upper level, Ningyu put it away. After all, he could only stay in the ivory space for 10 days. He could not waste time on upgrading the phantom armor. Try to divide the cyclones. This was the most important thing. Xiao! At this moment, a cold light suddenly burst out of Ningyu's mind and moved back and forth in the ivory space. Ningyu had the urge to curse when he saw the cold light that suddenly shot out, because the cold light was not something else, but a semicircular blue pendant. What the F asterisk CK? Why is it you again? This time, Ningyu did not let the blue pendant absorb the liquid spiritual qi here. Instead, he put on the phantom armor and chased after the pendant, trying to catch it. Swish! However, the pendant was obviously faster than Ningyu. Even though Ningyu had used all his strength, he still could not catch up with the pendant. Voila! While escaping, the pendant burst out a strong suction force, crazily absorbing the liquid spiritual chi around it. Damn it! You can't do this! Ning Yu could not help cursing, and his face was full of black lines. The ivory space was different from the pool on the 9th floor. There was not much energy in the pool on the 9th floor. As long as he refused to admit it, the black-robed old man would not find any clues. But it was different here. This was the ivory space. Ning Yu could imagine that if the pendant absorbed all the liquid spiritual chi in the space, the gray-robed old man would definitely skin him alive when he left. However, Ning Yu had no way to stop the pendant. He could only watch it absorb the liquid spiritual chi in the space. On the first day, the liquid spiritual chi in the ivory space was reduced by 1/20th. On the second day, it was still reduced by the same amount. In the following days, the liquid spiritual chi in the ivory space was decreasing at a steady rate. Crack, 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 crack. Chapter 182. The pendant's actions caused Ning Yu to be somewhat dumbfounded. Previously, after the pendant had absorbed the energy in the pool, it had directly entered his sea of consciousness and hibernated in the chi whirlpool. Why was it hovering above his head this time? Moreover, there were 4 cracking sounds coming from the pendant just now. In addition to the 2 cracking sounds that came from the pool on the 9th level, there were a total of 6 sounds. Did these 6 sounds signify something? However, just as Ning Yu was frowning in thought, a loud laughter came from the pendant. Ha ha ha! I, the Sword Devil, have finally reached the end. Kid, in order to repay you for helping me break the 6-light array, I will devour you as well. After the loud laughter, a red cold light shot out from the pendant and attacked Ning Yu at an extremely shocking speed. A red flying sword. Ning Yu's eyes were extremely sharp. The moment the cold light shot out, he discovered its true form. It was a red flying sword the size of a palm. Soul-breaking sword. Although he discovered that the cold light was a red flying sword, Ning Yu did not dare to be careless. He wrapped his yuan qi around the soul-breaking sword and slashed it down from the sky. Ding! Following that, the 2 flying swords slashed together and exploded with a crisp sound. After the attack, the red flying sword quickly retreated. You are actually so strong. The Sword Devil's voice rang in Ning Yu's ears, extremely shocked. Who are you? Holding the soul-breaking sword, Ning Yu asked coldly. Through the previous exchange, Ning Yu had already determined that the red flying sword could not defeat him. At most, their strength was on par. Since that was the case, there was nothing for Ning Yu to be afraid of. He said in a low voice, Why are you in the pendant? What is that hoodlum array you speak of? Could it be that you are a hoodlum? I'm going to faint. As soon as Ning Yu's voice fell, the red flying sword shook and transformed into a young man wearing a red shirt. Kid, that's a 6-light array, not a rogue array. The red-robed man rolled his eyes and said, I've been trapped in the pendant for many years. They used the 7-star array to suppress my body and the 6-star array to suppress my spiritual body. If it weren't for your heaven-defying luck, I wouldn't have been able to break the 6-star array. Spirit body. Ning Yu frowned. Then his eyes narrowed as he pointed at the red-robed man. You're the sword spirit. Haha, you are quite smart. That's right. I am the sword spirit of the red demon sword, the red-clothed man said with a smile. What do you mean by the 7-star array? Could it be that your true form, the red demon sword, is trapped in the 7-star formation? Ning Yu asked. At the mention of the 7-star array, the red-clothed man's expression turned ugly, and he said fiercely, Don't let me run into that old bald donkey, or I'll teach him a lesson. Whoosh! At this moment, Ning Yu, who was wearing the phantom armor and had his primordial chi wrapped around his feet, instantly arrived beside the pendant. Before the red-clothed man could react, He grabbed the pendant in his hand and threw it into his storage ring. The sudden change caused the red-clothed man's mouth to open slightly. He was somewhat dumbfounded. Very quickly he came to his senses and shouted, "Kid, if you know what's good for you, hurry up and return the pendant to me. Otherwise, I'll cut you into 8 pieces." Actually, it was no wonder that the red-clothed man had gone berserk. After all, his true form was still in the pendant. If the pendant fell into Ning Yu's hands, wouldn't that mean that he would be restricted by Ning Yu? With this thought, the red-clothed man turned into a red flying sword again and charged straight at Ning Yu. "Humph, you are not stronger than me." With a cold snort, Ning Yu waved the absolute soul sword and slashed out several sky-piercing sword waves. All of them slashed at the red flying sword. Facing such a fierce attack from Ning Yu, the red flying sword also slashed out several red sword rays to meet the sword waves. Puff! The sword rays and the sword waves collided and instantly disappeared. "Damn it! Kid, tell me, what will it take for you to return the pendant to me?" After the attack, the red flying sword shook its body and turned back into the red-clothed man. It said fiercely. The red-clothed man knew that his strength and Ning Yu's were about the same. No one could defeat the other. Now that his true form was in Ning Yu's hands, if Ning Yu destroyed his true form, he would also disappear from this world. After all, he had not reached the realm of unity of spirit and sword. If his true form was destroyed, he would not live for long. It seems that you have not reached unity of spirit and sword. Seeing that the red-clothed man was so nervous, Ning Yu smiled and said, "I will not return the pendant to you, because it belongs to me." Seeing that the red-clothed man was about to go berserk, Ning Yu changed the topic and continued, "If you want me to return your true form to you, it is not impossible. However, the 7 stars killing array is very difficult to break. I am willing, but not capable." "That is easy. There is still a lot of energy in the pendant. As long as it absorbs 3 times the liquid yuan qi in this space, you will be able to break the 7 stars killing array," the red-clothed man said in a low voice. "What? More than 3 times the liquid yuan qi?" Ning Yu had the urge to curse. The red-clothed man had absorbed half of the liquid yuan qi in the ivory space, and now he said that he needed 3 times the liquid yuan qi. Why didn't he just rob him? Moreover, 3 times the liquid yuan qi in this space could not be broken into unless he went to some big family or sect's treasure room. However, it was not so easy to break into the treasure room of a big family or a big family. That is nothing. I know some places where the yuan qi is very rich. The red-clothed man said disapprovingly, "As long as you give me the pendant, I will naturally have a way to get the remaining yuan qi." Ning Yu would definitely not give the pendant to the red-clothed man. Not to mention that the pendant was given to him by his father. Ning Yu would not give the pendant to the red-clothed man just because of the red devil in the 7 stars killing array. A flying sword that could give birth to a spiritual body was at least a king rank flying sword. Ning Yu rolled his eyes and said, "How about this? You follow me, and I will help you break the 7 stars killing array." "Follow you?" the red-clothed man said disdainfully. "Who do you think you are to make me, the red devil, follow you? Since you are not willing, forget it." Shrugging his shoulders, Ning Yu said faintly, "I'll leave the ivory space in 1 day. To tell you the truth, there's a powerful old man outside the ivory space. If he sees you, TSK, I don't dare to imagine it. The scene will definitely be very bloody." Ning Yu felt a strong killing intent from the red-clothed man. In other words, he had killed a lot of warriors. If the old man in gray saw the red-clothed man, he would definitely capture him. "Kid, don't use the old man's name to pressure me." The red-clothed man's heart shivered, but he still said fiercely, "Believe it or not, I have no enmity with you, so I have no reason to lie to you." Sitting down cross-legged, Ning Yu said. Although he was sitting down, Ning Yu released his soul power, paying attention to the red-clothed man's movements. If the red-clothed man dared to make a move, he would attack immediately. Chapter 183. Damn it! Damn it! Seeing Ningyu sit down, the man in red suddenly became angry. His whole body exuded a biting cold aura, wanting to attack Ningyu. But thinking of Ningyu's powerful strength, the man in red took a deep breath and said, "Boy, I can follow you, but you have to tell me, when can you help me break the Big Dipper array?" In the man in red's view, it was not impossible to follow Ningyu, but Ningyu had to agree to help him break the Big Dipper array. "You also said that breaking the Big Dipper array requires a lot of energy." Slightly frowning, Ningyu said, "With my current strength and state, it will be difficult to find enough energy to help you break the Big Dipper array." "You don't have to worry about this. Wait until we leave this damn place. I will tell you where to find energy." With that, the man in red's figure flashed, turning into a red afterimage, and directly attached himself to the soul-breaking sword. The man in red's action caused Ningyu's complexion to slightly change, and he was a little shocked. The soul-breaking sword was a devouring flying sword, and the man in red could actually attach himself to the sword. He really had some skill. Swoosh! Putting away the soul-breaking sword, Ningyu sat cross-legged again, and slowly operated the spirit transformation art. After the man in red's disturbance, there was only 1 day left in the 1-month time limit. In 1 day, Ningyu naturally could not complete the cyclone division, so he was very helpless. He could only operate the spirit transformation art to absorb the liquid yuan qi and strive to slightly expand the cyclone. Now, the yuan qi that Ningyu could hold in each cyclone was comparable to that of a peak middle stage true realm martial artist. But no one would complain that their cyclone could hold more yuan qi. After all, the bigger the cyclone, the more yuan qi it could hold. When fighting against an enemy, a little less yuan qi could lead to defeat. Hua! A day passed in the blink of an eye. When the 1-month time limit came, Ningyu only felt his vision go black, and his body seemed to be grabbed by a huge force and ruthlessly thrown out. Bang! On the 10th floor of the ivory tower, Ningyu was ejected from the stone door and fell to the ground. F***CK. Standing up from the ground, Ningyu really wanted to curse. The first time he came to the 10th floor of the ivory tower, he fell flat on his face. This time, if he wasn't prepared, he would definitely fall flat on his face too. Uncle could endure it, but Aunt could not. However, when Ningyu raised his head and saw the gray-robed elder in front of him, he forcefully swallowed the words that were on the tip of his tongue. If the uncle could endure it, so could the aunt. Still at the peak of the innate realm, the gray-clothed old man frowned slightly and asked, "It has been a month. Why do I feel that your strength has not increased by much?" Ningyu's current state was only slightly stronger than when he had first entered the ivory space, but not by much. At best, the essence energy in his spiritual sea had increased. With Ningyu's talent, it did not make sense that the capacity of his spiritual sea had only increased by a little after staying in the ivory space for a month. Previously, when Su Wui stayed in the ivory space for a month, his strength had increased by at least 5 times. In the eyes of the gray-clothed old man, even if Ningyu's strength could not be increased by 5 times, it should at least be increased by 2 times, right? The reality was harsh. Ningyu's strength had only increased by half compared to when he had entered the ivory space. Senior, I practiced a kind of magic in the ivory space, so I was not in a hurry to increase my strength, Ningyu explained after hesitating for a moment. Judging from the gray-clothed old man's reaction, he should not know what had happened in the ivory space. Since he did not know, Ningyu did not intend to tell him. After all, there was only half of the liquid essence energy left in the ivory space. Good. It's good that you can think this way. Nodding, the gray-clothed old man said, "When you were on the 9th floor of the ivory tower, you had already raised your cultivation to the peak of the Xiantian realm. In the ivory space, you were able to resist the urge to advance to the true martial realm. Not bad. Resist my A**. If I did not want to split the cyclones, I would have advanced to the true martial realm by now, Ningyu said in his heart. Now, Ningyu had 13 cyclones, and the maximum number of cyclones in the Xiantian realm was 16. He wanted to try to break through to 16 cyclones before advancing to the true martial realm. At the very least, he wanted to split the cyclones into 15. Before the Yuan-Dan realm, the number of cyclones determined how strong one would be when advancing to the Yuan-Dan realm. Although Su Wui did not show the cyclones to Ningyu, Ningyu could basically confirm that Su Wui had at least 10 cyclones, or even more. Otherwise, with the amount of Yuan Qi that Su Wui could hold, it would be very difficult for him to compete with him. Since you are the second martial artist to enter the 10th floor of the Ivory Tower, I can promise you one thing. Just as Ningyu was letting his imagination run wild, the gray-clothed martial artist said, "Promise me one thing." Slightly stunned, Ningyu did not expect that entering the 10th floor of the Ivory Tower would have so many benefits, and for a moment he was stunned. Originally, he thought that entering the ivory space to cultivate for a month was already very good. Who would have thought that the gray-clothed old man would promise him one thing? One had to know that the gray-clothed old man was a Yuan-Dan realm martial artist, or even a Yin-Yang realm martial artist. Don't be in a hurry to say your request. Let me first tell you some of the situation outside the Ivory Tower. Waving his hand, the gray-clothed old man flicked his sleeves, and suddenly a crystal was thrown into the air. The crystal was like a mirror, shrouding everyone in the square. Ningyu did not know what the gray-clothed old man meant, so he quietly looked at the crystal and did not say a word. Suddenly, the image on the crystal changed, and the scene on the high platform appeared. Who are these people? Looking at the people on the crystal, Ningyu frowned slightly. Apart from Yang Kuan, he did not know any of the other martial artists. Swoosh! However, very quickly, Ningyu's expression changed because he saw a familiar figure on the high platform. A figure that was extremely familiar to him. Apart from Yang Kuan, Lu Wei. Back in the Pale Dragon Valley, Lu Wei did not hesitate to go against the martial artists of the corpse sect for his sake. This kindness was something that Ningyu would never forget. Why is she here? Frowning slightly, Ningyu was a little confused. Logically speaking, Lu Wei should be taking the examination at Dongwu College. Why was she in Ivory City? Everyone on the high platform is an outstanding person in the Great Xia Kingdom. Pointing at the crystal, the gray-clothed old man said, "And their purpose here is very clear. They want to recruit you into their faction." "Recruit me into their faction?" Slightly stunned, Ningyu said. "Just because I made it to the 10th floor of the Ivory Tower." To be precise, they only know that you made it to the 8th floor of the Ivory Tower. They do not know that you made it to the 10th floor. The gray-clothed old man explained. If they know that you made it to the 10th floor, some hidden old monsters will definitely rush here. Now you have two choices. First, leave the Ivory Tower and join one of their factions. Second, I'll send you away quietly. This way, there won't be a lot of unnecessary trouble. Chapter 184. Trouble. Ningyu was stunned when he heard the gray-robed elder's words. What kind of trouble will she be in? Actually, it's not that big of a problem. That little girl knows you, but the cultivators around her are all here for you. If you leave quietly, they will definitely capture the little girl and try to find clues from her, the gray-robed old man explained. This doesn't make sense. How did Lu Wei know that I'm in the Ivory Tower? Ningyu was puzzled. In the Ivory City, only two people knew his identity, Yang Yu and Yang Kuan. Yang Yu was in the Ivory Tower and naturally wouldn't reveal his identity. Could it be Yang Kuan? Ningyu's face darkened at the thought of this. His identity must not be known to more people, or the consequences would be unimaginable. After pondering for a moment, Ningyu pointed at Zhang Jun, Sr., who is the cultivator beside the middle-aged man. Him. He is the current head of the Zhang family in the capital and is at the primordial core realm, the gray-robed elder answered. TSS. Ningyu gasped when he heard this. He killed Zhang Wenyong in the Elixir Dragon Valley and killed Zhang Jin in a domineering manner. If the current head of the Zhang family saw him, he would definitely kill him immediately. At this moment, choosing to leave the ivory tower quietly was the best choice and also the safest choice. However, when he saw the anxious Lu Wei on the crystal, Ningyu clenched his teeth and said, Senior, I choose the first option, but I will not join any faction. You will not join any faction? The gray-robed elder was a little shocked. After a while he said, Don't regret it. There are people from the Sacred Institute of Danwu College outside. As long as you agree to them, you can enter the Sacred Institute to cultivate. In the Great Xia Kingdom, the Sacred Institute of Danwu College is one of the 3 sacred cultivation grounds. Senior, I need your help with something. Since he had chosen the first option, Ningyu would definitely not back down. However, he was not a fool and would not leave the ivory tower just like that. After pondering for a moment, Ningyu said, Please change my appearance and aura so that they won't be able to recognize my true appearance. If Ningyu were to go out with this appearance again, he probably wouldn't be able to live for long. At the very least, the head of the Zhang clan would be the first to make a move. Moreover, there was a wise saying that Ningyu would never forget. A genius that had not grown up was not a genius. All right, I'll agree to this. Nodding his head, the gray, clothed old man swung his sleeve. Immediately, a bag of brown powder flew out and landed on Ningyu's body. After the brown powder landed on Ningyu's body, it wrapped around his skin and slowly entered his body. Buzz! A moment later, Ningyu's aura underwent a tremendous change. Early stage of true martial realm. Now, Ningyu's aura had reached the early stage of the true martial realm. In the eyes of the martial artists outside, your current cultivation is at the early stage of the true martial realm. Feeling Ningyu's aura, the gray-clothed old man was somewhat satisfied and said, The aura-changing powder can maintain your aura for 6 hours, so you only have 6 hours. After 6 hours, your aura will return to the peak of the Xiantian realm. Thank you, Senior, Ningyu said hurriedly. Waving his hand, the gray-clothed old man continued, Don't thank me yet. Although your aura has changed, your appearance hasn't. Next, let me change your appearance. At the same time, outside the ivory tower on the high platform, many martial artists were waiting anxiously, especially the head of the Zhang clan, Zhang Jun, who had an ugly expression and said coldly, It's been so long, why hasn't he come out from the 8th floor of the ivory tower yet? Rolling his eyes, drunken cloud manners, Xiao Chong said indifferently, He can't even wait this long. I advise you to go home early. Isn't it good for him to stay longer in the 8th floor of the ivory tower? Maybe he can make it to the 9th floor. You. Zhang Jun's expression turned cold and said gloomily, No matter how many floors he passes, he will definitely not join the drunken cloud manor. Xiao Chong shrugged and did not deny it. In the beginning, Xiao Chong came brimming with confidence. But when he saw the Dan Wu Academy's Fang Yuanzi and the imperial family's Mu Sanming, he faintly had the thought of giving up on recruiting genius martial artists from the ivory tower. He knew that his chances of competing with Danwu College and the imperial family for geniuses were slim. After all, Danwu College and the imperial family were the 2 overlords of the Xia Kingdom. Fang Yuanzi, do you think this genius martial artist will make it to the 9th floor? As time passed, Mu Saming's expression became a little serious, and he could not help but ask, Third brother Mu, what's the hurry? Sitting on the chair, Fang Yuanzi's eyes were still closed. He said calmly, No matter which level this genius martial artist reaches, he is still a member of the Sacred Institute. He has nothing to do with you. So, you should give up on this idea. Don't be complacent. We are determined to win this time, Mu Sanming said in a low voice. Crash! At this moment, a gap suddenly appeared on the 6th floor of the ivory tower, and then a figure was ejected out. Look! Someone came out from the 6th floor of the ivory tower. Who is it? Yang Yu. It's Yang Yu. I didn't expect it to be him. Now it seems that one of the martial artists on the 8th floor of the ivory tower has been eliminated. I wonder if it will be Zhang Hu. It's hard to say. Zhang Hu is stronger than Yang Yu. If Yang Yu can pass the 6th floor, maybe he can pass the 8th floor. Seeing a martial artist ejected from the ivory tower, Fang Yuanzi and the others changed their expressions and stood up from their chairs at the same time. However, when they saw that the cultivator had been ejected from the 6th floor, they all looked disappointed and sat back in their chairs. However, Yang Kuin was different from them. The moment Yang Yu was ejected, he flashed and came to Yang Yu's side. Although it was confirmed that the martial artist on the 8th floor of the ivory tower was not Yang Yu, Yang Kuin was not disappointed at all. Instead, he was very happy. For him, it was the best result that Yang Yu could come out alive. Father, I didn't expect. Yang Yu took a step forward and was about to speak, but he was interrupted by Yang Kuin. Now is not the time to talk. Talk to me when we go back, Yang Kuin said in a low voice. Hearing this, Yang Yu looked at the high platform. He was really surprised by what he saw, especially when he felt the strong aura coming from the high platform. He immediately shut his mouth and followed Yang Kuin in silence, because all the martial artists on the high platform, except for the young woman, were more powerful than him. It's not Ningyu. Seeing Yang Yu, Lu Wei looked disappointed. However, she did not say it out loud this time. Instead, she thought to herself, could the martial artist on the 8th floor really be Ningyu? Whoosh! However, not long after Yang Yu was ejected, another figure flew out from the ivory tower. This time, many of the martial artists on the high platform stood up in unison and stared at the martial artist who had flown out. This was because this martial artist had flown out from the 8th floor of the ivory tower. Shamelessly ask for monthly votes. 5 monthly votes and 1 chapter. How many monthly votes do you have? Also, if you haven't joined the group, please join the group. The group number is at the top of the book review section. I hope you guys can come out and comment. The book review section is too quiet. Chapter 185. Someone came out of the ivory tower again, and it's from the 8th floor. What? The 8th floor of the ivory tower? That's right, it's indeed the 8th floor of the ivory tower. He doesn't look like Zhang Hu. Not Zhang Hu. Who is it? The instant the figure shot out, the square burst into exclamations of surprise. The focus of everyone's discussion was the true identity of this martial artist. After all, no one had seen this martial artist before. Swoosh! 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 On the high platform, Fang Yuanzi and the others did not care about this martial artist's true identity. The moment he flew out, they rushed out and surrounded him. May I know why you are blocking my way? Ningyu had already guessed that this would happen, so he was not too surprised. Instead, he said in a deep voice, if there's nothing else, I'm leaving. Haha, how should I address you, my young friend? Fang Yuanzi smiled and said, let me introduce myself first. I'm from the Sacred Institute of Danwu College. I'm from Drunken Cloud Villa, Xiao Chong said. I'm from the Zhang family in the capital, Zhang Jun said. My young friend, I'm from the royal family. This is the 3rd prince, Mu Sanming said. Dan Yu. Ning Yu said after a moment of silence. Hiss. In the distance, Lu Wei trembled unnaturally when she heard Ning Yu's words. Only now did she confirm that the martial artist who had reached the 8th floor was Ning Yu. This was because Ning Yu had said the name Dan Yu the first time he went to Snow Pavilion. At that time, only he and Elder Mo remembered it. No one else knew. It's really him, Lu Wei murmured. Her body trembled uncontrollably because of her excitement. Danyu, my young friend, this is not the place to talk. Why don't we go to the governor's mansion and talk? Mu Sanming said. What's so good about the governor's mansion? Why don't you come with me to Danwu College? Fang Yuanzi went straight to the point and said, I promise you, as long as you follow me to Danwu College, I can make the decision to let you join the Sacred Institute. Hiss! Fang Yuanzi's words were like a sudden clap of thunder in the middle of the day, giving everyone a huge shock. Although they knew very well that martial artists who made it to the 8th level could join the Sacred Institute unconditionally, they were still very shocked to hear this from Fang Yuanzi. In the sacred courtyard of Danwu College, every martial artist that came out from there had at least reached the peak of the true martial realm, and there are even many martial artists who had advanced to the Yuan Dan realm. Hearing Fang Yuanzi's words, Mu Sanming could no longer sit still. He hurriedly said, Young friend Danyu, as long as you join the imperial family, we will definitely nurture you as the first core disciple. You can even enter the Frost Manor to cultivate at will. You can enter the Frozen Mansion to cultivate at will. Mu Sanming's promise once again shocked everyone in the square. In the Great Xia Kingdom, there were 3 sacred cultivation grounds. The first was the Sacred Institute of Danwu College, and the second was the royal family's Ice Mansion. As for the third, it was the Corpse Sect's Ghost Talent Cave. These 3 sacred cultivation grounds had produced more than half of the Great Xia Kingdom's geniuses. Moreover, the Frost Manor was previously only open to the imperial family. Even if a prince wanted to enter the Frost Manor to cultivate, he had to personally report and pass the examination before he could enter. Moreover, there was a time limit. Now that Mu Sanming had actually promised Danyu that he could enter the Frost Manor to cultivate at will, this was a rare opportunity. Danyu, although our Drunken Cloud Manor is not as good as the imperial family and Danwu College, as long as you join us, I promise you that I can even nurture you to become the next manor lord. Although he knew the chances were slim, Xiao Chang still wanted to fight for it. Danyu, I don't want to say anything unnecessary. I only have one thing to say. Join the Zhang family in the capital, and you will have the chance to become the next manor lord. Zhang Jun said in a low voice. Hearing this, everyone in the square was already numb. If they were shocked by the olive branch extended by Danwu College and the imperial family at the beginning, then Xiao Chang and Zhang Jun's promise completely drove them crazy. So far, all the top forces in the Great Xia Kingdom, except for the Snow Domain Pavilion and a few hidden forces, had all sent invitations to Danyu. If life was like this, he could die without regrets. Not the one who killed Master Lung? At the edge of the square, the man in white quietly took out a crystal ball and looked at it, then murmured, The aura of the early stage of the true martial realm. It seems that the one who killed Master Lung is someone else. The man in white knew that the one who killed Master Lung was at the late stage of the Xiantian realm, but the martial artist in front of him was at the early stage of the true martial realm, and did not seem to have just advanced to the early stage of the true martial realm. However, the man in white was a little confused. Didn't they say that only Xiantian realm martial artists could enter the ivory tower? Why was the martial artist in front of him at the early stage of the true martial realm? Could it be that the ivory tower has a treasure that can slow down the passage of time? Thinking of this, the man in white's heart shuddered, and his face revealed an ecstatic expression. He said in a low voice, I must tell the hall master this news. A treasure that can slow down the passage of time is too important to the hall master. As he spoke, the man in white's figure flashed, and he quietly left the square. On the high platform, the martial artist who came with Lu Wei looked a little anxious. He said, Eldest Miss, should we try to recruit this Danyu? Uncle Win, now that the Snow Domain Pavilion is in danger, how can we recruit Danyu? Suppressing the joy in her heart, Lu Wei said solemnly, Our goal this time is very clear, find Ningyu, and find a way to contact his master. Eldest Miss, Dan Yu is so talented, maybe his master is even more powerful than Ning Yu's master. The middle-aged man, who was called Uncle when obviously did not want to give up. He said, "Besides, we just came back from Tianjin City, and we didn't see Ning Yu there. Why don't we try to recruit Dan Yu?" Lu Wei fell silent. After thinking for a moment, she nodded and said, "All right, I'll try." Swoosh! Then Lu Wei's figure flashed, and she landed next to Ning Yu. "Little girl from the Snow Domain Pavilion, you also want to recruit Dan Yu?" Seeing Lu Wei, Fong Yuanzi and the others were slightly startled. "Seniors, my father just sent me a message, asking me to give it a try," Lu Wei said as she cupped her fists at the crowd. "He a message?" At this moment, the corner of Zhang Jun's mouth curled up, and he smiled evilly. "Your father must be busy refining elixirs. Why would he send you a message? In my opinion, you should hurry back to the capital. You might be able to see your mother for the last time." "You." Lu Wei's expression was a little ugly, but she was very clear that she was the weakest here, and she must not get angry. Taking a deep breath, Lu Wei said to Ning Yu, "I don't have many promises, but you should know that the Snow Domain Pavilion is the largest medicinal herb store in the Xia Kingdom, and there are many medicinal herbs in it." Chapter 186. "Oh, Shui Yu Pavilion can provide me with the herbs I need for free?" As soon as Lu Wei finished her words, Ning Yu raised his eyebrows and smiled. "That's a tempting offer. Dan Yue, my young friend, we have plenty of herbs." Seeing that Ning Yu was tempted, Mu Sanming hurriedly said, "Join the royal family. I promise you won't regret it. Everyone, stop fighting. Dan Yue is already a member of our Dan Wu Academy. You guys should stop meddling here." Fang Yuanzi's tone was firm. "Our Sacred Institute has a rule that anyone who can reach the 8th floor of the Ivory Tower can enter the Sacred Institute unconditionally." "Haha, just because you say he's a member of the Sacred Institute, does that mean he's a member of the Sacred Institute? Anyway, Dan Yue will definitely join the royal family this time," Mu Sanming said in a low voice. "All right, Mu Sanming, cut the crap. Let's see who's stronger." Fang Yuanzi and Third Elder Mu were at loggerheads. Fang Yuanzi said coldly, "Dan Yu will belong to whoever wins. Do you think I'm afraid of you?" Mu Sanming's temper flared up. In fact, it was no wonder that Mu Sanming and Fang Yuanzi were fighting over Ning Yu. They had received an order to recruit this genius, no matter what. "Everyone, please allow me to say a few words." Seeing that Fang Yuanzi and the others were about to fight, Ning Yu said loudly, "I want to make it clear that I already have a master, so I can only apologize to all of you. If my master finds out that I've joined another force, he'll definitely break my legs. Don't be afraid, Dan Yue. We're from Danwu College. You won't lose anything by joining Danwu College," Fang Yuanzi said proudly. "Even if your master finds out, he won't blame you. You can become a guest elder of the royal family," Mu Sanming said. "I'm really sorry to have caused everyone to think so highly of me." As soon as he finished speaking, Ning Yu moved his feet and walked out of the square. Seeing Ning Yu's action, everyone, including Fang Yuanzi, was dumbfounded. Ning Yu actually rejected all of them. They were the representatives of the elite forces in the Great Xia Kingdom. Ning Yu actually rejected them without blinking his eyes. This Dan Yu is not a fool. I don't think so. How could a fool reach the 8th floor of the Ivory Tower? Even if he isn't stupid, there must be something wrong with his head. He rejected all 5 peak powers invitations. There must be something wrong with his head. No matter which faction he joins, he is destined to become a dazzling star in the Great Xia Kingdom. Didn't you hear what he said? He already has a master. Even if he doesn't join any forces, his future achievements won't be low. Everyone in the square was shocked by Ning Yu's actions. At first, they thought that Ning Yu would join a force no matter what. Who would have thought that Ning Yu would reject 5 top forces at once? Hua, hua. After a short moment of shock, Fang Yuanzi and Mu Sanming reacted first. Their purpose of coming here this time was very clear. That was to recruit the genius who had reached the 8th floor. Therefore, before Ning Yu reached the exit of the square, the two of them turned into a shadow and blocked Ning Yu's way. "Danyu, tell me, how can I join Dongwu College?" Fang Yuanzi said in a deep voice. "Danyu, the door of the imperial family will always be open for you," Mu Sanming said, unwilling to be outdone. After thinking for a while, Ning Yu spread out his hands and said helplessly, "You are 2 forces. If I join one of them, the other will definitely not be happy. Instead of this, it is better not to join either force." This is a problem. Fang Yuanzi and Mu Sanming both fell into deep thought. After a while, Mu Sanming said first, "In fact, Dongwu College can't be regarded as a force. After you join the imperial family, you can also enter the Sacred Institute to cultivate. The imperial family will not restrict your freedom. All we want is your attitude." Fang Yuanzi's eyes lit up and said, "That makes sense. Dongwu College is an institution. As long as you graduate, you can naturally leave easily." "I see." Ning Yu frowned and thought about the pros and cons. In fact, Ning Yu was more inclined to join Dongwu College. After all, the purpose of this trip to the capital was to join Dongwu College. Now that he could enter the Sacred Institute to cultivate, it was better than nothing. As for joining the imperial family, Ning Yu had never planned to do so in the first place. It was said that the imperial family was ruthless. Once he joined the imperial family, he would definitely become a machine to protect the dignity of the empire. As for the freedom promised by Mu Sanming, it was worthless. However, in front of Mu Sanming, Ning Yu could not refuse. After a while, Ning Yu said, "Okay, I agree to join Dongwu College and become a foreign official of the imperial family." "That's great. Everyone is happy." After getting Ning Yu's affirmative answer, Fang Yuanzi and Mu Sanming smiled excitedly at the same time. It was of great significance to them to get such a peerless genius. It should be known that no one had been able to reach the 8th floor of the ivory tower for many years. However, Ning Yu's next words stunned Fang Yuanzi and Mu Sanming. "Although I agree to join you, now is not the time." Ning Yu said, "I have told Master that no matter which floor of the ivory tower I reach, I will go back and tell him. So in 3 months, I will go to the capital to find you." 3 months? Fang Yuanzi and Mu Sanming were a little confused. 3 months was not short, but it was not long either. At least he would not miss the battle for the imperial family and the 100 Academy battle. "You can rest assured that I will definitely go to you in 3 months. I am afraid that you will not recognize me then." Ning Yu smiled. "Haha, how can I not recognize you?" Fang Yuanzi also knew that it was not good to push too hard. Hence, he flicked his sleeves, and a golden token appeared in his hand. 3 months later, bring this to the Danwu Academy to look for me. At that time, I will personally receive you. Swish! Next to him, Mu Sanming also took out a golden token and threw it to Ning Yu, saying, "In 3 months, take this token to the imperial family. I will also meet you in person." Pa! After receiving the 2 tokens, Ning Yu said, "Thank you, seniors. I will remember it. In 3 months, we will meet again." With that, Ning Yu's figure flashed and directly rushed out of the square. Looking at Ning Yu's back as he left, Fang Yuanzi said, "Third Brother Mu, with Dan Yu's current strength, what rank do you think he will be in the true martial battle list?" After thinking about it, Mu Sanming said, "It's hard to say. After all, he has just advanced to the true martial realm. In my opinion, he should be in the top 5,000. Ha ha ha, top 5,000? I don't think so. He can at least be in the top 3,000. Fang Yuanzi laughed. 3,000? Old Ghost Fong, you think too highly of Danyu. Mu Saming frowned and said, I can believe that he can be in the top 3,000 of the true martial battle list in 3 months, but now I don't believe it no matter what. Fong Yuanzi curled his lips and did not answer. Instead, he flew toward the high platform. Buzz! No one saw that when Ningyu left, Lu Wei could not help but tremble, because she heard a low voice in her ear. Chapter 187. It wasn't until Ningyu left for a few days that the atmosphere in Ivory City died down. However, another shocking thing happened in Ivory City. Zhang, who, the peerless genius of the Zhang family, hadn't come out of the ivory tower for 3 days. He didn't come out of the ivory tower for 3 days. The result was obvious. He died in the ivory tower. This news was absolutely shocking to the entire Ivory City. Therefore, the head of the Zhang family, Zhang Zhe, went berserk and immediately led his family's experts to the city governor's mansion. If Mu Sanming and the third prince hadn't left yet, a fierce battle would have been inevitable. Even so, Zhang Zhe said that they must hand over Yang Yu, or he would fight to the death with the city governor's mansion. Yang Kuin's temper was not just for show. Moreover, with Mu Sanming's support, it was impossible for him to give in. However, fearing that Zhang Zhe would do something desperate, Yang Kuin begged Mu Sanming to take Yang Yu away that night. So early the next morning, Mu Sanming, the third prince, and the others left Ivory City. As for Yang Yu, he followed Mu Sanming to the capital. Whoosh! At the same time, in front of the city gate of Wutua City, a slightly thin figure stopped. Next to this figure was a puppy that stood upright on its hind hooves. Dark Emperor, did you really ask Lu Wei to go to Ivory City? Ningyu asked. Since leaving Ivory City, Ningyu had received the Dark Emperor's voice transmission, and then he ran away with the Dark Emperor. Since the powder could only last for 6 hours, Ningyu raised his speed to the limit and got rid of the experts in the real martial realm who were following him. After getting rid of the experts, Ningyu ran wildly for another 3 days, and on the 4th day he arrived at Wutua City. Fortunately, the phantom armor had been upgraded to the upper grade of the Earth rank. Otherwise, even a horse would have died after running for 3 days. Hey, Ningyu, this is the 328th time you've asked this question. The Dark Emperor was a little speechless and said, Let me tell you solemnly, I was the one who told your little girlfriend to go to Ivory City. With that, the Dark Emperor rolled his eyes at Ningyu before swaggering towards the city gate. All right, I'll trust you for now. Shrugging, Ningyu followed behind her. Look at that dog. It's actually walking upright. Really? A dog that can walk upright is a special case. This dog is so cute. I wonder if that big brother will sell it. Ningyu blushed with shame when he heard the words around him. Was that little girl blind? Since when was the Dark Emperor cute? If she saw the ferocious appearance of the Dark Emperor, who knew what she would think? Shivering, Ningyu couldn't help but quicken his pace. Wutua City was a much smaller city than Ivory City. However, compared to Ivory City, Wutua City was much more famous. Firstly, Wutua City was very close to the capital, and the transportation was convenient. One could reach the capital in a day by flying beasts. Secondly, Wutua City was a transportation fortress that was adjacent to the Lanqing Kingdom. It was also the only place that could lead to the Lanqing Kingdom within a radius of a few thousand miles. The special geographical environment and convenient transportation made Wutua City very famous in the entire Great Xia Kingdom and even the Lanqing Kingdom. Because it was adjacent to the Lanqing Kingdom, Wutua City was a mixture of crooks and honest people. Even though the imperial family had stationed an army here to maintain order in Krogide City, the effect was negligible and could basically be ignored. In Wutua City, strength was the most important thing, and no one cared about anything else. This point was also displayed in front of Ningyu after he entered Wutua City. Kill! How dare you offend our green vegetable gang? You must have eaten a bear's heart and leopard's gall. Humph. Our tomato gang isn't just for show. Brothers, kill them all. Ah, why did you attack me? Why, you're an eyesore. The battle cries that came from the surroundings caused Ningyu's brows to involuntarily knit together tightly. After that, he signaled to the Dark Emperor with his eyes and left this place with quick steps. After a short moment, Ningyu and the Dark Emperor stopped at a weapons store, because he had to wait for Lu Wei in Wutuo City. Ningyu had to find an inn to stay in. Staying in an inn required spirit crystals. Ningyu's spirit crystals had been exhausted by him long ago, and there were only a few tens left. It was naturally not enough to stay in an inn. So he chose to come to a weapons store and sell the few useless magic treasures on him. May I know how I can help you? Ningyu had just stepped into the weapons store when an attendant came up to greet him and said with a smile, "Our exquisite pavilion has a lot of magic treasures. I wonder what type you need." Exquisite pavilion. Hearing the attendant's words, Ningyu was slightly stunned. He didn't notice the name of the store earlier, so it turned out that this store was called Exquisite Pavilion. There's also an Exquisite Pavilion in Tianxian City. I wonder what's the relationship between the two. Collecting his thoughts, Ningyu said, "I'm not here to buy magic treasures. I have a few magic treasures to sell to you." Selling magic treasures? Hearing that, the attendant was obviously stunned and immediately said, "I wonder what grade of magic treasures you want to sell. All the magic treasures sold here might be slightly lower." "It's okay if it's lower. It's fine as long as you have spirit crystals." Ningyu didn't care about the price. To him, it was fine as long as he could pay spirit crystals directly. If the magic treasures on him were to be sold at an auction house, they might sell for a high price. However, it would be slightly slower to pay spirit crystals. Swoosh, swoosh. With a flick of his wrist, 2 low-grade flying swords appeared in his hands. These are 2 low-grade flying swords. As long as the price is fair, I'll sell them to you. Ningyu directly threw the 2 low-grade flying swords to the attendant and said indifferently, "Please wait a moment." After receiving the 2 flying swords, the attendant said goodbye and ran towards the second floor. Ningyu wasn't in a hurry. Instead, he casually found a chair in the hall and sat down. "I thought you were going to sell some magic treasures. So it's 2 low-grade, earth-rank flying swords." On another chair, the Dark Emperor curled his lips and said, 2 low-grade, earth-rank flying swords are at most worth 20,000 high-grade spirit crystals. 20,000 high-grade spirit crystals is still considered little? Ningyu was slightly speechless. To him, a single high-grade spirit crystal wasn't little. At the very least, 20,000 high-grade spirit crystals could solve his urgent need and allow him to find a comfortable place to stay. "Up to you." Shrugging, the Dark Emperor leaned back on the chair and said indifferently. Looking around the hall, Ningyu was slightly shocked, because he had already noticed 5 Xiantian Perfection Realm Warriors. 5 Xiantian Perfection Realm Warriors walking side by side. Among the 5 warriors, the youngest was only 22 or 23 years old, while the oldest was only around 30 years old. It seems like in the Great Xia Kingdom, this is the real gathering place of geniuses. Slowly retracting his gaze, Ningyu mumbled, "The 5 of them can probably be ranked in the top 200 on the innate realm combat list." Moreover, the leading martial artist was very powerful, even more powerful than Yang Yu. Chapter 188. Russell. Just as Ningyu was shocked by the strength of the 5 warriors, an old man walked down from the second floor. In the old man's hands were 2 earth-ranked lower-grade flying swords. They were the ones that the servant had taken from Ningyu. "How should I address you?" The old man came to Ningyu's side and asked, "My name is not important. What's important is how many yuan crystals these 2 swords are worth." Ning Yu waved his hand and said, "Even though these two are earth-ranked lower-grade flying swords, they are of high quality." The old man said, "How about this? I will give you 25,000 yuan crystals." "That's a fair price." After thinking for a while, Ning Yu decided to sell the swords. After all, 25,000 yuan crystals was a good price. Even in the auction house, it could only be sold for 27,000 yuan crystals. Plus, there was a fee. Swoosh! With a flick of his wrist, the old man threw a storage pouch to Ning Yu. "Check it. There are 25,000 yuan crystals inside. If there are no problems, these two earth-ranked, lower-grade flying swords belong to the House of Excellence," the old man said. Checking the storage pouch, Ning Yu nodded and said, "That's right. The amount is just right." Keeping the storage pouch, Ning Yu stood up and walked towards the door. However, before he could leave, a voice entered his ears. "Young warrior, please wait." Ning Yu looked back and saw a 30-year-old Xiantian realm martial artist walking towards him from among the 5 Xiantian realm martial artists. The 30-year-old warrior stopped in front of him and said, "Let me introduce myself. I am Cheng Hai." "Cheng Hai? I don't think I know you." Ning Yu calmed himself down and said calmly, "Hee, of course you don't know me. It is fate that brought us together. From now on, we will know each other." Cheng Hai laughed. "Say it, what's the matter?" Ning Yu knew that Cheng Hai would not look for him for no reason. There must be something. "I won't beat around the bush. I need your help with something." Cheng Hai lowered his voice slightly and said, "After the matter is done, you can obtain at least 1,000,000 high-grade essence crystals." Hua! Ning Yu's heart went cold. What kind of matter could actually obtain 1,000,000 high-grade essence crystals? Could this Cheng Hai be bluffing him? "I'm sorry, my strength is too low. I'm afraid I won't be able to help you," Ning Yu said without batting an eyelid. "As for 1,000,000 high-grade origin crystals, it looks like I don't have the fortune to enjoy them." With that, Ning Yu strode out of the finest grade pavilion. Behind him, the Dark Emperor did not even look at Hai and the others as he quickly followed behind Ning Yu. "Ka-ka!" Cheng Hai clenched his fists tightly as he stared at the back of the man and dog. His face was a little gloomy. "Brother Hai, the 5 of us are enough. I don't think we need to invite anyone else, right?" A martial artist beside Cheng Hai said. Another martial artist echoed, "That's right, Brother Hai. With the strength of the 5 of us, can't we even deal with a mere rank for demonic beast?" "What do you know?" Cheng Hai said in a low voice that demonic beast is not an ordinary rank for demonic beast. "I'm afraid it has already reached the late stage of rank 4. Its strength is comparable to a martial artist at the peak of the true martial realm." "What?" Hearing this, the other 4 martial artists revealed an expression of disbelief. Although the 5 of them were strong and ranked at the top of the innate realm battle board, it was still a little difficult to deal with a late-stage rank for demonic beast. "Brother Hai, you mean to say—" Suddenly a martial artist beside him seemed to have thought of something and exclaimed, "That martial artist has the strength to defeat a late-stage rank for demonic beast." "I don't know if he can defeat a late-stage rank for demonic beast. I only know that his strength is not weak. He can even be compared to me." Cheng Hai said, "He can actually be compared to Brother Hai." The other 4 martial artists were shocked once again. One had to know that Cheng Hai's cultivation was at the innate full realm and he was ranked 80th on the innate realm battle board. If he could be compared to Cheng Hai, didn't that mean that Ning Yu could also be ranked in the top 100 on the innate realm battle board? Sha! With regards to the shock of Cheng Hai and the rest, Ning Yu did not know and did not want to know. At this time, he had already left the Supreme Grade Pavilion and was strolling on the streets of Wu Tua City, intending to find a place to rest. Wait. However, just as Ning Yu was searching the inn, a voice suddenly entered his ears. Hearing this voice, Ning Yu raised an eyebrow and turned to look at the Dark Emperor. because the voice in his ears did not come from anyone else but the Dark Emperor. Ningyu, the two martial artists in front, are strange. The Dark Emperor's mouth moved, but the voice rang in Ningyu's mind. Frowning slightly, Ningyu looked ahead. Not far ahead, there were two young martial artists whose cultivation was around the late-stage innate realm. What's the problem? Ningyu asked doubtfully. I suspect they are from the Corpse Een sect, the Dark Emperor said in a deep voice. No way. Did you get the Corpse Een sect syndrome? Everyone looks like they are from the Corpse Een sect. Ningyu opened his mouth and said, How are you sure they are from the Corpse Een sect? In Ningyu's view, the two young martial artists in front of him were ordinary and not from the Corpse Een sect at all. Intuition. After saying this, the Dark Emperor's front hooves landed on the ground. He concealed his aura and walked toward the two martial artists in front of him. I'm going to faint. Ningyu was a little embarrassed. If he could determine who was from the Corpse Een sect with intuition, then the Dark Emperor was too amazing. Afraid that the Dark Emperor would cause trouble, Ningyu quickly stepped forward and dragged the Dark Emperor's tail into the alley. After all, this was Wu Tuo City, where good and bad people mixed together. With his and the Dark Emperor's strength, it was better not to cause trouble. Even if they were from the Corpse Een sect, there was no need to go against them now. Moreover, they were only two late-stage Xiantian cultivators. Being dragged by Ningyu by the tail, the Dark Emperor was obviously a little angry. He bared his teeth at Ningyu and said, Put me down, we can't let them leave. The Dark Emperor's resentment toward the Corpse Een sect had reached an extreme point. As long as it was someone from the Corpse Een sect, he wanted to kill them. Don't be impulsive. Even if you want to kill them, you can't do it in Wu Tuo City. After throwing the Dark Emperor into the alley, Ningyu said in a deep voice, When they leave Wu Tuo City, we'll follow them and confirm their identity. If they are from the Corpse Een sect, it won't be too late to deal with them outside Wu Tuo City. After thinking about it, the Dark Emperor felt that what Ningyu said was reasonable, so he shrugged his shoulders and disappeared into his storage ring, finally obedient. After the Dark Emperor disappeared, Ningyu let out a long breath. He was really afraid that the Dark Emperor would make a move in Wu Tuo City. For a city as important as Wu Tuo City, even if there were Yin-Yang realm martial artists, Ningyu wouldn't be surprised. Swish! However, just when Ningyu was about to leave the alley, a cold red light rushed out from his body and steadily landed in front of him. Red Devil. Chapter 189. Hee, don't be nervous. I have been observing for a long time. In this city, no one can discover that I am a spirit body. Waving his hand, Hong Emo smiled. I came out this time mainly to discuss something with you. What is it? Ningyu said in a deep voice. Actually, it's nothing big. I just sensed a place with powerful origin chi. Hong Emo said lightly. By the way, do you want to collect that origin chi? Oh, I didn't expect you to have the ability to sense energy. Ningyu raised his eyebrows and was slightly surprised. He only knew that Hong Emo was the sword spirit of the Red Demon Sword, but he didn't expect Hong Emo to have the ability to sense energy. This ability was rare, and if used well, he could even find Yuan crystal mines. What's wrong with that? It's very simple. Hong Emo curled his lips and said, Tell me, are you going or not? Of course, how can I not go? Ningyu said, but I promised the Dark Emperor that I would first determine whether those two martial artists are from the Corpse Een sect. If they are, I will get rid of them. It's just killing two late-stage Xiantian martial artists. I can kill them in minutes. Saying that, Hong Mo's figure flashed and flew out of the alley. Hong Mo, don't do it here. Seeing Hong Mo's movements, Ningyu hurriedly said, I naturally won't do it in Wu Tuo City. Hong Mo's voice sounded in Ningyu's ears. Go quickly. If you're a step late, you won't be able to see them. With a change of expression, Ning Yu stepped out of the alley. When he saw the two martial artists walking into the distance, Ning Yu quickly stepped forward and walked side by side with Hong Mo Swish. The two late-stage Xiantian martial artists first circled around Wu Ta City, then took a shortcut and left Wu Ta City. Buzz. As soon as they left Wu Ta City, the two young martial artists transformed into two middle-aged men. Moreover, their cultivation had also changed from late-stage Xiantian to late-stage true martial realm. Hiss! Ning Yu could not help but suck in a breath of cold air when he felt the powerful aura coming from the two warriors. It seemed like there was indeed something strange about them. As for whether or not they were people from the corpse sect, he would have to investigate further. The next moment, the two middle-aged men's figures flashed, and they quickly rushed into the distance. Upon seeing this, Ning Yu's heart shook, and he immediately summoned the phantom armor. Fortunately, the phantom armor had been upgraded to high-grade earth step, and its speed was comparable to a martial artist at the peak of the late stage of the true martial realm. Otherwise, facing the two middle-aged men, Ning Yu would not be able to catch up. Rumble! Ning Yu flew behind the two middle-aged men for about an hour before he abruptly stopped. There's a battle ahead. Hearing the rumbling sounds coming from afar, one of the middle-aged men said in a deep voice, "Should we go around it?" "Let's take a detour. We can't afford to delay young Master Luo's plans," another middle-aged man said. "Yes, in the next assessment of the Ghost Talent Hall, young Master Luo is determined to get into the top 5. The first middle-aged man who spoke nodded and said, "Let's hurry up and send that thing over." With that, the two middle-aged men's figures flashed, and they changed direction and flew into the distance. Ghost Talent Hall. It seems that they are indeed people from the corpse sect. Although the distance was quite far, Ning Yu could still hear the middle-aged man's words. From their conversation, Ning Yu judged that young Master Luo should also be from the Ghost Talent Hall, and his ranking in the Ghost Talent Hall was not low. At the very least, his ranking in the Ghost Talent Hall was higher than Zhang Hu's. "Ning Yu, should we chase after them?" Seeing the middle-aged man leave, Hong Mo asked. "Chase after them?" Gritting his teeth, Ning Yu said, "I want to see what kind of person young Master Luo is." However, just as Ning Yu was about to set off, his complexion suddenly became gloomy. This was because he heard a loud shout. "How dare you! How dare you ambush us? We are from the Snow Pavilion." Not far away, in a wide open space, more than a dozen martial artists formed a circle. In the middle of these martial artists, there were two people, a man and a woman. The man was in his 40s and was at the late stage of the true martial realm. The woman was very young, about 20 years old, and was at the early stage of the Xiantian realm. "Eldest miss, I will stop them later. You find a way to leave here," the man in his 40s said in a low voice. "Uncle Wen." Lu Wei opened her mouth and wanted to say something, but she closed it again and did not say anything. Not long after they left Ivory City, they were targeted by more than a dozen martial artists. However, these martial artists did not attack at first, but chose to bare their claws and teeth not far away from Wu Tua City. Fortunately, the cultivation of these martial artists was not very high. The most powerful one was only at the peak of the middle stage of the true martial realm. Otherwise, with Uncle Wen's cultivation of the late stage of the true martial realm, it would be impossible for him to persist for so long. You are like a clay bodhisattva crossing the river. You can't even protect yourself, and you still want to let that little beauty go." Among the martial artists, a black-robed martial artist at the peak of the middle stage of the true martial realm laughed and said, "If you know what's good for you, surrender as soon as possible, and maybe I will let you die in one piece." "Who the hell are you?" Lu Wei took a step forward and asked in a deep voice. "Want to know who we are?" The corners of his mouth slightly rose, revealing a touch of an evil smile. The black-robed man said, Well, since you are about to die, there is no harm in telling you. Listen carefully. We are from the capital, the Zhang family. The capital Zhang family. Lu Wei's face turned cold, and she could not help clenching her fists. In fact, you don't have to worry. Our patriarch invited you back. He will not kill you. The black-robed man continued. Patriarch just wants to know, what is the relationship between you and the martial artist who broke into the 8th floor of the ivory tower? Before Ning Yu came out of the ivory tower, Zhang Jun already felt that Lu Wei knew him. When Lu Wei extended the invitation to Ning Yu, Zhang Jun carefully observed Ning Yu and found that Ning Yu's expression changed slightly. Moreover, after Ning Yu left, Lu Wei revealed a happy expression. Although she quickly concealed it, Zhang Jun still noticed it. Therefore, Zhang Jun decided to send someone to stop Lu Wei and ask her who the martial artist in the ivory tower was. I already said I don't know that, Danyu. Lu Wei said coldly. It's useless to talk to me here. Go back and talk to the patriarch. The black-robed man curled his lips and waved his hand. Then the martial artists behind him flashed and rushed toward Uncle Win. After the previous battle, Uncle Win was already an arrow at the end of its flight. There was no need for the black-robed man to personally deal with him. After Uncle Win was forced into another corner, the black-robed man walked step by step towards Lu Wei. As he walked, he said, "Give up resisting. Although your cultivation base is very low, you are quite pretty. Perhaps the patriarch will betroth you to young Master Tianwen." Young Master Tianwen is a peerless genius from Danwu College's Sacred Institute. You will have a great advantage if you follow him. Chapter 190. Let go of eldest miss, and I'll go back with you. Let go of eldest miss, and I'll go back with you. Uncle Wen's face contorted when he saw the man in black walking toward Lu Wei. He yelled, "I'll tell you everything you want to know." Noisy. The man in black raised an eyebrow and moved in a flash. He arrived beside Uncle Wen in an instant. His fist brought with it a violent yuan qi gale as it slammed into Uncle Wen's chest. Bang! The enormous force caused Uncle Wen to retreat a few meters back. Only when he collided with an enormous tree did he finally stop. Uft! Uncle Wen spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. His already pale face turned even paler and bloodless. Young Master Tian Wen's talent is no less than Dan Yu's. If he were to challenge the ivory tower, he would definitely make it to the 8th floor. He might even make it to the 9th floor. After casually defeating Uncle Wen, the man in black turned to Lu Wei and said, "As long as you tell me Dan Yu's true identity, I'll plead with the patriarch to matchmake you and young Master Tianwen." Uft! What bullsh asterisk Tianwen? Lu Wei's face darkened as she said coldly, "I don't know who Dan Yu is. Even if I did, I wouldn't tell you bandits." Hee. You won't shed a tear until you see your coffin. The man in black smiled faintly and said, "I must let you suffer a little. Otherwise, you won't be able to understand the situation before you." As soon as he finished speaking, the man in black unleashed his aura and charged toward Lu Wei without any regard for the consequences. Oh no! However, before the man in black's aura could reach Lu Wei, his expression changed. He quickly withdrew his aura and retreated. Swoosh! At that moment, a ray of red light shot toward him at an alarming speed. The man in black was stunned when he sensed the frightening murderous intent from the ray of red light. While he was in a daze, the ray of red light had already arrived in front of him. It gradually transformed into a red flying sword and stabbed toward his chest. Swoosh! The man in black only reacted when the sword stabbed into his chest. He quickly gathered the yuan qi in his sea of consciousness in his chest and instantly released it. Buzz! The next moment, the red flying sword was pulled out of the black-clothed man's chest, turned around, and landed beside Lu Wei. "Who is it?" Stopping the bleeding on his chest, the black-clothed man's face darkened as he shouted at the person behind Lu Wei. "Sha Sha! Not long after the black-clothed man finished speaking, a rustling sound was heard. Then, a slightly thin figure slowly appeared in the distance. Ningyu! Lu Wei's eyes widened as she stared at the gradually clearer face in the distance. She covered her mouth with her hand and her face was filled with disbelief. She had never expected Ningyu to appear at this time and place. Ignoring the man in black scolding, Ningyu moved his feet and arrived in front of Lu Wei. "Sorry I'm late," Ningyu said apologetically. Ningyu knew that the reason Lu Wei was besieged by these martial artists was mostly because of him. If he hadn't asked Lu Wei to come to Wu Tua City, Lu Wei would naturally return to the capital at the first instance, and there wouldn't be so many problems. Fortunately, he had left Wu Tua City with the two middle-aged men. Otherwise, if Lu Wei was killed here, Ningyu would never forgive himself. No, I'm not late." Because of her excitement, Lu Wei even stuttered a little. However, thinking of the black-clothed man's powerful strength, she looked worried. "Ningyu, they are all from the capital's Zhang family. The martial artist leading them is at the peak of the middle stage of the true martial realm. He's very powerful. Be careful. Little girl, is a martial artist at the peak of the middle stage of the true martial realm very powerful?" Before Ningyu could answer, the red flying sword shook and turned into a red-clothed man. He curled his lips and said, "A true martial realm martial artist like him, I'll kill as many as there are. You!" The transformation of the red devil into a human really surprised Lu Wei. "Hong Mo, except for that black-clothed man, there's no need for the others to stay." Waving his hand, Ningyu said indifferently, "Understood." Licking his lips, the red devil once again turned into a flying sword, forcibly tearing the void and rushing towards the surrounding martial artists. Puchi! 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 The strength of the red devil was very strong. Coupled with his unique killing moves, he killed these early and middle stage true martial realm martial artists as easily as chopping melons and vegetables. In just a dozen seconds, no less than 5 early stage true martial realm martial artists had died tragically under his sword. "Run. This is a demon. Sword demon. It's definitely the sword demon. If we don't leave now, there won't be a chance." Puchi! Under the powerful attack of the sword demon, the surrounding martial artists didn't even have the chance to escape. The sword demon was crazily slaughtering, and the blade of his sword even emitted a buzzing sound. He hadn't killed so crazily in a long time. "Ningyu, is that a human or a ghost?" Looking at the bloodthirsty red devil, Lu Wei's complexion was somewhat pale, and she said, "He won't go crazy and kill us, right?" Don't worry, he won't dare to kill us." With a slight smile, Ningyu said, "This time it's all because of me. Don't worry, with me here, I won't let anything happen to you." "And, Ningyu, can you save Uncle Wen?" Nodding, Lu Wei carefully said, "Swoosh!" Just as Lu Wei's voice fell, Ningyu rose from the ground and instantly arrived beside Uncle Wen. Bang bang! With 2 punches, he repelled the 2 martial artists beside Uncle Wen. Then, Ningyu grabbed Uncle Wen and brought him to Lu Wei. "Uncle Wen, are you all right?" Looking at the extremely weak Uncle Wen, Lu Wei hurriedly asked, "Eldest miss, I'm fine." Enduring the pain all over his body, Uncle Wen clenched his teeth and said, "A few of your tendons are broken." Ningyu released his soul force and probed Uncle Wen's condition. His expression was somewhat unsightly, and he said in a deep voice, "Before you recover, remember not to use your essence. Otherwise, all the tendons and veins in your body might break." Saying that, Ningyu said to the Red Devil, "Hurry up, we don't have much time." "All right, I haven't played enough yet." Hearing Ningyu's words, the Red Devil transformed into a human and shrugged his shoulders. Then, a soaring aura erupted from his body. After this aura erupted, his speed soared to the limit, turning into countless afterimages as he shuttled past the many martial artists. Plop! About a minute later, the red devil carried the man in black to Ningyu's side and threw him on the ground. I brought this trash here. How you deal with him is all up to you. Throwing down this sentence, the red devil turned into an afterimage and entered the absolute soul sword. Answer a few of my questions. Looking at the sorry figure at his feet, Ningyu said, If I answer your questions, will you spare my life? Originally, the man in black thought that he would definitely die, but when he heard Ningyu's words, it was as if he had grasped the hope of survival. He quickly said, Go ahead, ask as many questions as you want. As long as I know, I will definitely tell you everything I know. Remember, you are now a prisoner. You have no right to negotiate with me. Chapter 191. I choose the first one. The black-robed man was no fool. There was a chance of survival if he chose the first one, but he would definitely choose the first one if he chose the second one. Ningyu asked, Who ordered you to capture Lu Wei? The black-robed man replied, The Zhang clan's head. Zhang Ju, Ningyu frowned. Why do you want to capture her? The clan head said that she might know Dan Yu's true identity, the black-robed man said, not daring to lie. Dan Yu's true identity. Ningyu pondered for a moment before continuing. I want to know, did the Zhang clan secretly order for me to be captured? This. The black-robed man hesitated for a moment before gritting his teeth and saying, That's right, you're ranked 10th on the Zhang clan's wanted list. You're a must-kill. Oh, I'm only ranked 10th on the Zhang clan's wanted list? It seems like the Zhang clan doesn't take me seriously, Ningyu shrugged. At this moment, Lu Wei said, Ningyu, it's already not bad for you to be ranked 10th on the Zhang clan's wanted list. All of the top 10 martial artists on the Zhang clan's wanted list are at the pinnacle of the true martial realm or even half-step primal core realm. You have to be careful. Few of the top 10 martial artists on the Zhang clan's wanted list are able to live for more than 3 years. Lu Wei was a little worried as she continued. When I return, I will ask my father to send experts to protect you. It won't be that easy for the Zhang clan to kill you. It won't be that easy for the Zhang clan to kill me, Ningyu said with a smile. He was no longer the same as before. After coming out of the ivory tower, his strength had increased by several times. Even if he faced a half-step primal core realm martial artist, he would be able to put up a fight. Furthermore, he had Hong Mo and the Dark Emperor by his side. Unless the Zhang clan sent out an primal core realm martial artist, he would kill as many as they came. Answer my last question. Ningyu pondered for a moment before asking again. How strong is Zhang Tianwen of the Zhang clan right now? Zhang Tianwen is the Zhang clan's absolute prodigy, and he can even be ranked top 3 in the Great Xia Kingdom. It is rumored that his strength has already broken through to the true martial realm, but no one knows what realm he is at now. The black-clothed man answered honestly. Zhang Tianwen was very strong. He was always in the top 3 of the previous Xiantian battle rankings. In the recent Xiantian battle list, there was no sign of him. Therefore, everyone guessed that he might have broken through to the true martial realm. That, you can let me go, the man in black said carefully. Pucci. However, before the man in black could finish his sentence, a red, cold glint swept out from Ningyu's body and ruthlessly pierced towards his neck. You. Touching the blood on his neck, the black-clothed man's eyes widened. He pointed at Ningyu and said, You didn't keep your word. Thump. After saying this, the black-clothed man fell backwards with a thump. I never said I would let you go. Ningyu spread out his hands and said indifferently, Ningyu, this kind of person deserves to die. How dare he surround and kill your little girlfriend? He's already lucky that I didn't skin him alive. Hong Mo came to Ningyu's side and said, This has nothing to do with you. Hurry up and get back into the soul-breaking sword. Ningyu rolled his eyes at Hong Mo and said coldly, TSK, TSK, what an ingrate. You have a wife and forgot me. Hong Mo smacked his lips and turned into a cold light, entering the soul-breaking sword. After Hong Mo disappeared, Ningyu said in a deep voice, Lu Wei, the most important thing now is to return to Wu Tua City and buy a meridian repairing pill to treat Uncle Wen. Actually, Ningyu had bought 2 meridian repairing pills from Bright King City in the past, 1 supreme grade and 1 high grade. The supreme grade meridian repairing pill was used to treat Ning He, and the other high grade meridian repairing pill was actually swallowed by the Dark Emperor at some point in time. Other than the high grade meridian repairing pill, Ning Yu's only remaining 7th grade crystal jade pill was also swallowed by that big mouth of the Dark Emperor. Helpless, he could only think of another way to get the meridian repairing pill. Little friend Ningyu, I can hold on, Uncle Wen said. Pucci. However, he had just said this when Uncle Wen spat out a mouthful of dark red blood again, and his complexion became even paler. Let's go. Seeing the situation, Ningyu grabbed Uncle Wen and quickly rushed towards Wu Tua City. Due to bringing along Uncle Wen and Lu Wei this time, Ningyu's speed was much slower, and he spent an entire 6 hours before arriving at Wu Tua City. After entering Wu Tua City, Ningyu first found an inn and asked the Dark Emperor and Uncle Wen to stay. Then Ningyu and Lu Wei walked towards Wu Tua City's Snow Domain Pavilion branch together. Snow Domain Pavilion was the largest herb store in the Dexia Kingdom, with branches all over the Dexia Kingdom. In an important city like Wu Tua City, they naturally had a branch. Entering the Snow Domain Pavilion branch, Lu Wei directly found the shopkeeper of the branch and revealed her identity. Young miss, may I know why you are here? The shopkeeper of Wu Tua City's Snow Domain Pavilion branch was a middle-aged man in his 40s, called Wan Zhongqing, who was in the middle stage of the true martial realm. Uncle Wan, find a way to help me get a meridian repairing pill with the fastest speed. Lu Wei went straight to the point, without any pleasantries. The meridian repairing pill is a 5th grade medicinal pill. There is no stock here. After thinking about it, Wan Zhongqing said in a deep voice, How about this? 5 days. Within 5 days, I will definitely help you get a meridian repairing pill. 5 days is a bit long. 3 days, at most 3 days. Ningyu frowned and said, If you can't get a meridian repairing pill in 3 days, the consequences will be unimaginable. Ningyu was the clearest about how serious Uncle Wen's injuries were. Although all the tendons and veins in his body were not completely broken, several of the most important tendons and veins were broken. If those tendons and veins could not be reconnected as soon as possible, Uncle Wen would most likely spend the rest of his life in bed. May I ask who you are? Originally, Wan Zhongqing thought that Ningyu was Lu Wei's follower, but now it seemed that Ningyu's identity was somewhat special. Uncle Wan, his words are my words. Can you help me get a meridian repairing pill in 3 days? Lu Wei said in a deep voice. Hearing Lu Wei's words, Wan Zhongqing's eyes flashed with a hint of ruthlessness and immediately said, 3 days, I will try my best. Then I will wait for Uncle Wan's good news. I will come back in 3 days. Saying that, Lu Wei got up and left. Only when they were far away from this Snow Domain Pavilion branch did Ningyu ask in doubt, Your Uncle Wan doesn't seem to care much about your request. Sighing lightly, Lu Wei said, Sigh, in order to refine the life creation pill, Father has offended too many people. Let's go to the Alchemy Union to try our luck. This was Lu Wei's family affairs, so it was not good for Ningyu to interrupt, since he did not have much hope for Wan Zhongqing. Ningyu and Lu Wei rushed to the Alchemy Union. Wu Ta City's Alchemy Union could be described as huge. Compared to the Alchemy Union in a place like Profound Sky City, it could only be regarded as a country bumpkin. The president of Wu Ta City's Alchemy Union had long been promoted to a 5th grade pill master. It was said that he had already reached the peak of 5th grade pill master and had even broken through the limit of a 6th grade pill master. As the alchemy union was relatively large, when Ningyu and Lu Wei entered the alchemy union, they did not even have a guide. Ningyu did not care and directly went to the front desk and asked, "May I ask, if I want to buy pills, who should I look for?" Chapter 192. Ning, you stood on the spot. May I ask how I can? A moment later, the young lady raised her head again. Just as she was about to speak, she stopped and asked, "Didn't I tell you? Go to the second room on the left and look for Master Sunday. I want to buy the meridian repairing pill. Can Master Sun make it?" Staring at the young lady, Ningyu asked in a serious tone. Master Sun is a 3rd grade alchemist. The meridian repairing pill. What? You want to buy the meridian repairing pill? Before the young lady could finish her sentence, she hastily covered her mouth with her hand and asked carefully, "Are you sure you want to buy the meridian repairing pill?" "Absolutely," Ningyu answered. Please follow me." The meridian repairing pill was a 5th grade medicinal pill. It was expensive, and Su Yun did not dare to delay. She hurriedly left the reception desk and led Ningyu and Lu Wei inside. Those 2 young men want to buy the meridian repairing pill. The meridian repairing pill is a 5th grade medicinal pill. It's expensive. They must be from a big clan. It's good to be rich. They can even afford a 5th grade meridian repairing pill. Let's just accept the mission. After Ningyu and his group left, the lobby was filled with discussions. However, due to the large number of people in the alchemy union, the discussions did not last long. "I didn't expect you to be so likable." Beside Ningyu, Lu Wei pouted. "How am I likable?" Ningyu was slightly startled. "You're still denying it?" The girl in front was blushing just now. Lu Wei said, Let's go. We should hurry and buy the meridian repairing pill." After saying that, Ningyu hastened his steps as if he was escaping. Not long later, Su Yun stopped in front of an alchemy room. Knock, knock. Su Yun knocked on the door a few times, then stood in front of the door and waited quietly. "What is it?" A moment later, a voice came from inside. "Grandmaster Tong, someone wants to buy the meridian repairing pill," Su Yun said softly. "I don't have time now. Let them wait outside." Grandmaster Tong was clearly a little impatient as he spoke. "Gentlemen, what do you think?" Su Yun could only shrug, expressing her helplessness. After pondering for a moment, Ningyu took a step forward and said in a clear voice, "Master Tong, we really need the meridian repairing pill urgently." Bang! Before Ning could finish his sentence, a muffled sound came from the room. Creak! Then the door slowly opened and a white-bearded old man walked out with an angry look on his face. "Kid, are you looking for a beating? Didn't I tell you to wait outside?" The old man glared at Ning furiously. "Grandmaster Tong, we—" Seeing this, Lu Wei hurriedly said. The white-bearded old man waved his hand and interrupted her, then said in a deep voice, "Get the hell out of here before I get angry." Even I'm afraid of myself when I get angry. For a moment, Lu Wei was a little embarrassed. She stood on the spot and did not know what to do. Slightly frowning, Ningyu looked into the room. When he saw the scattered powder on the floor, the corner of Ningyu's mouth slightly curled up as he understood why the old man was so angry. Qi replenishing pill. The muffled sound just now was the sound of the old man failing to refine the Qi replenishing pill. The Qi replenishing pill was a 5th grade intermediate medicinal pill that could instantly replenish one's Qi. And Qi replenishing pill could instantly replenish exhausted Qi. Of course, the effect of the Qi replenishing pill was not that miraculous. The Qi it replenished was at most equivalent to the Qi in the sea of consciousness of a peak innate stage martial artist. Moreover, the effect of the Qi replenishing pill was very overbearing and could only be consumed by true martial realm martial artists. If an innate stage martial artist were to consume it, their body might explode and they would die. This was because the body of an innate stage martial artist was too weak. Not only is the effect of the qi replenishing pill overbearing, but the medicinal ingredients are also quite repulsive. Ning Yu said calmly, although the qi replenishing fruit can improve the final quality of the pill, adding too much will definitely result in an explosion. You also know about the qi replenishing pill. The white-bearded old man's expression changed as he said, "What do you know? If you want to refine a mid-grade qi replenishing pill, you have to add an entire qi replenishing fruit. Otherwise, the qi replenishing pill that you refine is destined to be a low-grade one. It's not impossible to add an entire qi replenishing fruit, but you use too few neutralizing medicinal herbs and 3-thread flowers." Ning Yu continued, "A fist-sized qi replenishing fruit requires at least 5 3-thread flowers. If I'm not wrong, the batch of qi replenishing pills you refined definitely did not last till the pill formation stage. It should have exploded during the fusion stage." What? This time, the white-bearded old man was finally moved, because what Ning Yu said was not far from the truth. He indeed did not last till the pill formation stage, and the pill exploded during the fusion stage. I was fortunate enough to see Master refining the qi replenishing pill. He told me the details that I need to pay attention to. Originally, I wanted to tell you, but now it seems that there is no need for that. Following which, Ningyu gave Lu Wei a look and walked out. Swoosh! However, just as Ningyu moved, the white-bearded old man blocked his way in a flash. "I have the meridian repairing pill. If you want the meridian repairing pill, we'll have to see if you're capable enough." As he spoke, the white-bearded old man strode into the elixir refining room. Shrugging, Ning Yu followed the white-bearded old man into the elixir refining room. As for Lu Wei, she hesitated for a moment before she followed him in. Outside the elixir refining room, Su Yin was dumbfounded when she saw the contrast between the white-bearded old man and before. In the beginning, when she saw the white-bearded old man's angry look, she was extremely nervous and even a little terrified. This was because the white-bearded old man was temperamental. If she angered him, it would not end well for her. However, after what Ningyu said, the white-bearded old man surprisingly did not continue to lose his temper. Instead, he allowed Ningyu and Lu Wei to enter the elixir refining room. This change was out of Su Yun's expectation. "I'd better hurry back." Su Yun did not stay for long and left quickly. Swoosh! In the elixir refining room, the white-bearded old man waved his hand and swept the scattered powder on the floor to a corner. He then took out a storage bag from his sleeve. After pouring the medicinal ingredients in the storage bag onto the table, the white-bearded old man picked up a white fruit and said, "How many 3-striped flowers do I need for this origin returning fruit?" With a smile, Ningyu said, "My master said that an origin returning fruit the size of a fist needs 5 3-striped flowers. The origin returning fruit in your hand is about the size of 1.5 fists, so you'll need 7.5 to 8 3-striped flowers." Seeing the white-bearded old man frown, Ningyu continued, "My master also said that during the merging stage, it's not advisable to keep burning the bottom of the elixir furnace with a huge fire. You'll need to burn it slowly with a warm fire. Wait until the various medicinal liquids have merged halfway before increasing the temperature of the fire. You must complete the merging stage within 10 minutes. Only in this way would the final refined origin restoring pill be of higher quality." Chapter 193. Ningyu shut his mouth. What other details do I need to pay attention to? The white-bearded elder was clearly unhappy. "Tell me everything." "Hee, Master Tong, it's been a long time. I've forgotten some of the details." Ningyu smiled. "Humph. Do you think I don't know what you're up to?" Snorting coldly, Master Tong flung his sleeve and a jade bottle appeared in his hand. Waving the jade bottle, Master Tong said in a low voice, "As long as you tell me all the details, I'll sell this medium-grade meridian repairing pill to you." "You sure are straightforward." The corners of Ning Yu's mouth curled up as he said, "Next, you can start refining the pill. My master has already told me all the details to pay attention to. If there are any problems during the refining process, I will remind you." Even though Ning Yu couldn't personally refine the rejuvenating pill, he still had the experience from his past life. He knew all the details that needed to be paid attention to. Master Tong was a 5th realm intermediate alchemist, and his soul strength was at the 5th realm intermediate level. It could be said that with Ning Yu's guidance, Master Tong should be able to refine a high-grade, rejuvenating pill. "I'll trust you this time." Master Tong wasn't an indecisive person. He immediately tossed his cauldron into the air, grabbed a medicinal ingredient with his left hand, and threw it into the cauldron. At the same time, a green flame appeared on the fingertip of Master Tong's right hand. He placed it at the bottom of the cauldron and slowly burned it. The green flame ranked 300th on the mystical flame list. Seeing the green flame on Master Tong's fingertip, Ning Yu raised his eyebrow and mumbled, "With its help, I might be able to refine a supreme-grade rejuvenating pill." The rejuvenating pill had a high requirement for fire control. Between alchemists of the same level, the difference in fire could result in one of them producing a low-grade rejuvenating pill while the other producing a supreme-grade rejuvenating pill. In the beginning, Ning Yu thought that Grandmaster Tong only had ordinary flames, so he didn't say it out loud. Now that he saw the green flame on Master Tong's fingertip, Ning Yu's confidence was boosted. He felt that there was hope for him to refine a supreme-grade essence, returning pill. The effect of the top-grade soul-restoring Dan was very good. It could even instantly replenish the consumed true chi of a middle-stage, true realm martial artist. As for the transcendent grade essence returning pill, it was very useful even for a Yuan Dan stage martial artist. Master Tong was worthy of being a middle-stage, 5th grade alchemist. The preparatory work of refining the essence returning pill was done perfectly without any problems. An hour later, Grandmaster Tong's eyes narrowed. He grabbed the origin returning fruit and threw it into the cauldron. Then he grabbed 7 3-striped flowers and threw them into the furnace. Recalling Ning Yu's words, Master Tong broke off another half of the 3-striped flower and threw it into the furnace. Grandmaster Tong, during the refining phase, used half of the green wenhua. Seeing that Master Tong had increased the temperature of the flame, Ning Yu hurriedly said, "The temperature should not be too high. Only increase the flame after the essence, returning fruit, is completely refined." Hearing that, Master Tong turned around and glanced at Ning Yu. Then, the flame on his fingertip weakened by half and the temperature dropped a lot. Control the 3-striped flower to sink to the bottom of the cauldron. The 3-striped flower requires a higher temperature. We must let it melt before the essence, returning fruit. After a while, Ning Yu spoke again. This time, Master Tong did not hesitate. He divided a bit of soul force into the cauldron and pressed the 3-striped flower to the bottom of the cauldron. Sizzle! As soon as the 3-striped flower sank to the bottom of the cauldron, it let out sizzling sounds. Not long after, 7.5 3-striped flowers had all melted into liquid. At this time, Ning Yu's voice sounded again. Let the 3-striped flowers liquid wrap around the essence, returning fruit. Master Tong did not dare to be negligent. He quickly divided his soul force to control the 3-striped flowers liquid to wrap around the essence, returning fruit, and slowly immerse it into the essence, returning fruit. After another 15 minutes, the essence returning fruit had completely turned into a pool of liquid. Next is the fusion stage. Use a warm flame to heat the cauldron first. Increase the flame after 15 minutes. Ningyu said in a deep voice. The last time, Master Tong's pill exploded during the initial fusion stage. Hence, he was extra careful this time. Actually, this was not Master Tong's second time refining the essence returning pill. Including the one a few days ago, he had refined a total of 8 cauldrons of essence returning pills. Without exception, all of them exploded. Some were in the melting stage, and some were in the fusion stage. All in all, there would be all sorts of problems every time. This time, with Ningyu's reminder, Master Tong had already persevered to the middle stage of fusion without any pill explosion. He looked forward to meeting Ningyu's master even more. He was also very curious about how impressive a genius alchemist like Ningyu had to be. Increase the flame. Complete the fusion stage within 10 minutes. Right at this time, Ningyu's shout rang in Master Tong's ears. Master Tong's heart skipped a beat. He hurriedly took out all the Qingwen fire and burned the bottom of the cauldron crazily. 10 minutes later, Ningyu said again, "Next is the last stage. It's also the most important stage. Maintain the same flame and add a 3-striped flower." What? As soon as Ningyu's voice fell, Master Tong's face changed into a shocked expression. Ever since he became an alchemist, he had never seen anyone add medicinal ingredients to the cauldron during the pill formation stage. Was Ningyu crazy? It's up to you whether you believe it or not. That's what my master told me. Shrugging, Ningyu declined to comment. After pondering for a second, Master Tong clenched his teeth, grabbed a 3-striped flower, and threw it into the cauldron. Use the biggest flame to burn the cauldron. Use your vitality as well. No matter what happens in the cauldron during this period, don't interfere. Ningyu said calmly, "You can only form the pill when I tell you to." Sizzle. Vitality gushed out of Master Tong's consciousness and burned continuously at the bottom of the cauldron. Crack, crack. Along with the high temperature, crackling sounds erupted from within the pill furnace, and the pill furnace was also constantly shaking. Master Tong was a little worried. He quickly shifted his gaze to Ningyu. However, when he saw Ningyu and Lu Wei chatting, he suddenly had the urge to kill someone. However, the current situation was out of his control. Helpless, he could only wait for Ningyu's command. "If I can't refine a superior grade qi replenishing pill, I'll make you pay." Master Tong thought to himself. Crack, crack, crack. 3 minutes later, the cauldron shook even more violently and several cracking sounds came from inside. Bang, bang, bang. Another 3 minutes later, muffled bangs came from the cauldron. At that moment, Ningyu's eyes narrowed and he said in a deep voice, "Pill formation!" Whoosh! Master Tong could not wait to form the pill. The moment Ningyu said the word pill, he slammed the cauldron. Swoosh! In the next moment, a white pill with a smooth and round appearance, emitting a strong fluctuation of vitality, flew out of the pill furnace. When the pill flew out, Master Tong's figure flashed, and he grabbed the white pill in his hand. The moment he opened his palm, Master Tong's eyes widened and revealed an extremely incredulous expression. Chapter 194. A Supreme Grade Vitality Recovery Pill. That's not too bad. Beside him, Ningyu nodded as he sensed the dense aura coming from the white pill. He mumbled, "This medium-grade meridian cultivation pill won't be able to escape. I actually refined a supreme-grade vitality recovery pill." Master Tong only recovered from his shock after he placed the supreme-grade vitality recovery pill into the jade bottle. Master Tong originally thought that refining a medium-grade vitality recovery pill was already the best he could do. Who would have thought that the final pill would be a supreme grade vitality recovery pill? "Kid, what's your name?" Master Tong turned around and asked after putting away the jade bottle. What kind of expert is your master to be able to raise such a freak like you? Hearing Master Tong's words, Ningyu's face was filled with black lines. What's a freak? At best, you're a freak. Although he was a little speechless, Ningyu still replied, Ningyu, as for my master's identity, he doesn't allow me to tell outsiders. Forget it. Experts all have the demeanor of an expert. Master Tong slowly let out a breath of impure air and no longer insisted. Instead, he waved his sleeve and a jade bottle appeared in his hand. I promised you that as long as you can help me refine the energy replenishing pill, I'll sell the meridian repairing pill to you for 50,000 high-grade origin crystals. This middle-grade meridian repairing pill is yours. Thank you for your kindness, Master Tong. 50,000 high-grade origin crystals for a medium-grade meridian cultivation pill was a fair price. However, although 50,000 high-grade origin crystals was not a lot, it was a huge sum of money to the current Ningyu. Feeling helpless, Ningyu could only shift his gaze to Lu Wei. There are 50,000 high-grade origin crystals in here. Lu Wei rolled her eyes at Ningyu and took a step forward. She took out a storage bag and handed it to Master Tong. Here you go. After receiving the storage bag, Master Tong tossed it aside without even looking at it. He then tossed the jade bottle to Ningyu. Master Tong, we still have some matters to attend to, so we'll be taking our leave first. Ningyu put away the meridian repairing pill and gave Lu Wei a look before leaving the alchemy room. After Ningyu and the rest left, Master Tong's expression became somewhat solemn, because the maturity and steadiness that Ningyu displayed just now far exceeded that of people his age. This maturity was extremely rare. Furthermore, Master Tong secretly separated a wisp of his soul power to probe Ningyu. He wanted to sense the strength of Ningyu's soul power. Unfortunately, before his level 5 soul force could get close to Ningyu, it was bounced back by a rebounding force, causing him to be unable to discover any clues. If Ningyu doesn't participate in the alchemy conference this time, it's destined to lose a lot of its luster. Taking a deep breath, Master Tong slowly closed the door of the alchemy room. After leaving the alchemy union, Ningyu and Lu Wei did not hesitate at all as they rushed towards the inn without stopping. Not long later, they arrived at the inn and entered the room where Uncle Win and the Dark Emperor were. Swoosh! Ningyu, what took you so long? The Red Devil and I have some matters to attend to. Seeing Ningyu enter, the Dark Emperor jumped up from his chair and said, I'll leave this place to you and your little girlfriend. We'll be back soon. Swoosh! Swoosh! As she spoke, the Dark Emperor stomped on the ground and rushed out of the room. The Red Devil leaped out from the soul-breaking sword and glanced at Ningyu before turning into a shadow and disappearing behind the Dark Emperor. When did the two of them hook up? Waving the soul-breaking sword, Ningyu was a little confused. Why would the Red Devil collude with the Dark Emperor? Shaking his head, Ningyu did not care about the two of them for the time being. After all, they were very strong. Unless they encountered a Yuan Dan realm martial artist, no one would be able to do anything to them. The most important thing now was to treat Uncle Win. Lu Wei, go and guard the door. With a flick of his wrist, Ningyu took out the jade bottle containing the meridian repairing pill and said in a low voice, Without my permission, don't let anyone in. I know. Nodding, Lu Wei's figure flashed as she dashed out of the room and stood obediently by the door. She was very clear that Ningyu needed to use the meridian repairing pill to treat Uncle Win and must not be disturbed. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. Therefore, Lu Wei's legs were firmly nailed to the ground as she released her senses and looked straight ahead. Swoosh! In the room, Ningyu gently lifted Uncle Win's chin and instantly threw the medium-grade meridian repairing pill into his mouth. Due to the experience of treating Ning, he previously, coupled with the great improvement in Ningyu's cultivation and soul force, Ningyu was very confident in treating Uncle Win this time. The meridian repairing pill entered Uncle Wen's body and began to be slowly digested. Go. Ning, you did not want to wait slowly. After all, Uncle Wen had a few main tendons and veins that had to be treated as soon as possible. His soul force moved and instantly entered Uncle Wen's body, controlling the meridian repairing pill to quickly refine it. With the help of Ning Yu's soul force, the meridian repairing pill was quickly refined. Traces of medicinal power were guided by Ning Yu's soul force to a damaged tendon. The medicinal power slowly flowed into the tendons and veins and was absorbed bit by bit. At the same time, outside the room, Lu Wei was highly focused and did not dare to have the slightest bit of carelessness. In Shuiyu Pavilion, she had a very good relationship with Uncle Wen. If something happened to Uncle Wen, she would feel uneasy. Ning, you will definitely be able to cure Uncle Wen. Clenching her fists, Lu Wei thought to herself. Time passed little by little, and in the blink of an eye, night fell. Why is he not out yet? Could there be a problem? In front of the door, Lu Wei had a worried look on her face. From the time Ning Yu treated Uncle Wen until now, a full 6 hours had passed. In these 6 hours, Lu Wei had been standing outside the door and did not move an inch. In the beginning, Lu Wei was still full of confidence in Ning Yu, but as time passed, she could not help but mutter in her heart, "There should be no problem, otherwise Ning Yu will definitely come out." Taking a deep breath, Lu Wei murmured, "Swoosh! Xiu!" At this moment, 2 figures approached from afar and quickly appeared in front of Lu Wei. Looking at the 2 figures in front of her, Lu Wei was slightly startled and immediately said in a low voice, "Uncle Wan, what are you doing here?" The 2 figures that suddenly appeared, one was Wan Chongqing, the other was a young man in his 20s. Needless to say, Wan Chongqing, the young man's body was full of vitality, and his strength was not ordinary. "Haha, I am naturally here to bring you back to Shuiyu Pavilion." Wan Chongqing smiled and said, "Wu Tua City is mixed with good and bad people. Anything can happen. Shuiyu Pavilion's branch is safer. You should follow me back to the branch." "There is no need. With Uncle Wen here, I am very safe. Uncle Wan, please go back." Lu Wei said, "That's right. Where is Wen? Let's not stand here. Let's go in first." Saying this, Wan Chongqing took a step forward and reached out to open the door. Shua! However, Lu Wei took a step forward and blocked his way. Chapter 195. This is Wu Tua City. If something happens to you here, I won't be able to explain it to the pavilion master. Wan Zhongqing's face darkened after hearing Lu Wei's words. With that said, Wan Zhongqing winked at the young man next to him. The young man understood. He stepped forward and stood in front of Lu Swan. Wan Zhongqing's lips curled up as he walked towards the door. In fact, when Lu Wei left the Snow Pavilion branch, Wan Zhongqing already had his suspicions. He immediately mobilized the forces in Wu Tua City and soon found some clues. Lu Wei probably bought the meridian repairing pills for Wen An's use, and he had a conflict with Wen, and Wen An's cultivation was at the late stage of the true martial realm, while he was only at the peak of the middle stage of the true martial realm. This was a rare opportunity, so Wan Zhongqing naturally wouldn't let it go. Before he came, he had already ordered others not to sell the meridian repairing pills to Lu Wei. Wan Zhongqing wanted to see Wen die a horrible death. Creak! However, as soon as Wan Zhongqing raised his hand, the door creaked open from the inside. Then, a slightly tired figure slowly walked out. When the man came out, he saw Lu Swan, who was standing behind the young man. The man was taken aback for a moment, and then his face darkened. "I advise you to stay away from her. When I go crazy, even I am afraid of myself. You're the genius that shopkeeper one mentioned, right?" Seeing Ning Yu come out, the young man took a step away from Lu Wei and said with a frown, "You are not in your peak condition now. Even if I, Gufei, beat you, it won't be honorable. How about this? I'll come back in 3 days and we'll have a good fight then." The young man's name was Gufei, a Xiantian full-cycle cultivator. In the previous Xiantian battle list, Gufei was ranked 85th. Although he was ranked 85th on the innate realm rankings, Gufei came from a poor family. He had a severely injured father and a young sister. Gufei's daily life was monotonous. He would fight about 10 battles a day in the underground deathmatch arena. 10 deathmatches could be exchanged for 10,000 high-grade essence crystals, and Gufei had already stayed in the underground deathmatch arena for a full 3 months' time. 2 hours ago, Wan Chongcheng found Gufei and invited him to spar with a young genius. After the matter was done, he could obtain 100,000 high-grade essence crystals. 100,000 high-grade yuan crystals was enough for Gufei to work hard in the death arena for 10 days. Therefore, Gufei did not think too much about it and followed Wan Chongqing here. Gufei, do you still want the 100,000 high-grade origin crystals? Hearing Gufei's words, Wan Zhongqing's face darkened. He whispered in Gufei's ear, "Think of your father, think of your sister." Ning, you couldn't be bothered with Gufei or Wan Zhongqing. He walked to Lu Wei's side, grabbed her hand, and retreated into the room. Xiu. However, before they could retreat to the door, a sharp gust of wind came from behind Ningyu. Seeing this, Ningyu's face darkened and he pulled Lu Wei behind him. At the same time, he raised his right hand and suddenly threw a punch. Bang! In the next moment, a low muffled sound was heard and a figure retreated. Sorry for the offense. After the attack, Gufei stomped on the ground and dashed out again. The energy in his body surged out and wrapped around his fist. Then, Gufei suddenly pushed his fist out and punched towards Ningyu's chest. Because he knew that Ningyu was not in his peak condition, Gufei did not use his full strength in this punch. He only used half of his strength. Facing Gufei's attack again, Ningyu was also a little angry. The phantom armor quietly appeared on his skin, and his speed increased to the limit. Before Gufei's fist could reach him, Ningyu sent out several palm strikes, all of which landed on Gufei's body. Pa 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 pa. After a few muffled sounds, Gufei's body was like a kite with a broken string, retreating backward. Although Ningyu didn't use his soul force, nor did he use any soul attack spells, and only relied on his yuan force to attack, the power was still extremely powerful. At the very least, Gufei, who was ranked 85th on the innate combat board, would not be able to withstand it. Against a martial artist like Gufei, Ningyu did not even need to use his full strength to defeat him. If it weren't for Ningyu holding back, Gufei would have been dead by now. You are actually so powerful. Initially, Wan Zhongqing thought that Ningyu was a young master of some big family and wanted to woo Lu Wei, so his strength would not be that strong. But now, it seemed that he had miscalculated. To be able to easily defeat Gufei, who was ranked 85th on the innate combat board, Ningyu's strength was at least in the top 50 of the innate combat board. After defeating Gufei, Ningyu walked towards Wan Zhongqing step by step. After a while, he came to Wan Zhongqing's side and said, I advise you not to have any evil thoughts, otherwise you will not be able to bear the consequences. As someone who had lived 2 lives, Wan Zhongqing's cunning thoughts could not escape Ningyu's discerning eyes. In fact, he had already seen through Wan Zhongqing's intentions. If not for the fact that he sensed a few powerful auras hidden in the surroundings, with Ningyu's character, he would have killed Wan Zhongqing right here. Damn it! I should have informed Elder Shi before coming. At this moment, Wan Zhongqing was a little regretful. He thought that he would definitely be able to get rid of Wenin, but who would have thought that a powerful Ningyu would appear out of nowhere? Elder Shi was the guardian of Wu Tua City's Snow Domain Pavilion. His cultivation was high, and he had long reached the half-step Yuan Dan realm. Most importantly, Elder Shi was also against the pavilion master of Snow Domain Pavilion, spending manpower and resources to refine the life creation pill. It was too late to say anything now. Wan Chongqing understood this logic. He was under someone else's roof, so he had to lower his head. Let's go, Wan Zhongqing said in a low voice after glaring at Gufei. He can go, you stay. Ningyu rolled his eyes and pointed at Gufei. I have something to ask you. Me stay? Gufei pointed at himself, a little dumbfounded. He did not expect that Ningyu would ask him to stay. Could it be that he wanted to kill him? Thinking of this, Gufei's face turned ugly. He must not die. At the very least, before his father was cured, he could not die. Therefore, Gufei's aura burst out and he clenched his fists tightly. His face was full of determination. Wan Zhongqing looked at Ningyu, not knowing what the latter wanted to do. What are you looking at? Get out of here. Yuan Qi surged out from his sea of consciousness and pressed down on Wan Zhongqing. Ningyu said coldly, If I'm late, I will take your life. Xiao, feeling the powerful aura pressing down on him, Wan Zhongqing did not dare to be slow. His figure flashed and he flew away. After Wan Zhongqing left, Ningyu retracted his aura and said lightly, Gufei, follow me. Seeing Ningyu retract his aura, Gufei was stunned. Didn't Ningyu want to kill him? Why did he retract his aura and his tone was so calm? Even if I have to kneel down, I will let him kill me 10 days later. Chapter 196. This is infuriating. This is infuriating. Outside the inn, Wan Chongqing's face was green and unsightly. This time he had really failed miserably in an easy task, lifting a rock and smashing his own foot. If I don't get my revenge, I am not a man. Clenching his fists, Wan Chongqing said, I will go back and inform Elder Shi and have him deal with this personally. Also, Gufei is such a piece of trash. He dared to disobey my orders. I will make him suffer. Thinking about Gufei's sister, Wan Chongqing's lips curled up, revealing an evil smile. Whoosh! At the same time, in the room where Ningyu and the others were. Ningyu, when will Uncle Wen wake up? Looking at Wen, who was lying on the bed, Lu Wei frowned, worried. His veins are all broken, and he cannot move. He needs to rest. Ningyu said, If there are no accidents, he will wake up in 3 days. 3 days. Lu Wei fell into deep thought. Right now, Shuiyu Pavilion was in a mess. For the sake of making the pill of good fortune, her father had offended too many people. On top of that, there was a fatal problem with the pill of good fortune. If this problem is not solved soon, the dam they spent so much money on will end in failure. Right now, Lu Wei really wanted to return to her clan, to her parents' side. Right, can I ask you a question? Frowning, Lu Wei asked. Of course, Ningyu said. Taking a deep breath, Lu Wei asked in a serious tone, Can you contact your master? Contact my master? Ningyu's eyes froze, a little dazed. Very quickly he guessed a possibility. The pill of good fortune made by Shuiyu Pavilion had a problem. The pill of good fortune was extremely difficult to make. Though Shuiyu Pavilion was powerful without an 8th realm alchemist, they could not make the pill of good fortune. Although Ningyu had guessed that there was a problem with Snow Domain Pavilion refining the good fortune pill, there was nothing he could do about it. His master had always been a groundless person. In other words, his master was not a person. He was the experience and memories of his previous life. After some thought, Ningyu shook his head and said, I can't contact him at this stage. As soon as she finished speaking, Ningyu could clearly sense the disappointment on Lu Wei's face. There was even a hint of despair in her disappointment. Frowning slightly, Ningyu opened his mouth and whispered into Lu Wei's ears, What level of alchemist would be able to help you? Hearing those words, Lu Wei opened her mouth and said, 8th grade. Hiss! Even though he had already guessed that this would happen, when these 2 words came out of Lu Wei's mouth, Ningyu was still a little shocked. 8th realm alchemists were rare animals. In the entire Xia kingdom, it was impossible to find a true 8th realm alchemist. Therefore, this request of Lu Wei was destined to be difficult to achieve. Is it an 8th realm alchemist, or is it possible as long as the strength of the soul reaches the 8th realm? Ningyu asked again. It must be an 8th realm alchemist, and the strength of the soul must reach the 8th realm. Lu Wei said, Father said that we need the help of an experienced alchemist. Hesitating for a moment, Ningyu said, How about this? I will think of another way. In the next few days, you can transfer as many trustworthy people as you can to ensure Uncle Wen's safety. I am afraid that Wan Chongcheng will be desperate and make a move on Uncle Wen. From Wan Chongcheng's behavior just now, he really wanted to enter the room. At that time, both Ningyu and Lu Wei were at the door, and there was only Wen'en in the room. Therefore, Ningyu concluded that Wan Chongcheng's purpose was very clear, to deal with Wen'en. Wuta City was equivalent to a chaotic place, with crooks mixed in with the honest folks. Ning, you did not think that he could protect Wen'en. Once Wan Chongqing found a few half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artists, even he would have to die here. This was also the reason why Ning, you wanted Gufei to stay. Because Gufei was born and raised in Wuta City, he definitely knew Wan Chongqing very well. That, just at this moment, Gufei opened his mouth. During the conversation between Ningyu and Lu Wei, Ningyu used soul spirit transmission and used his soul spirit to seal Lu Wei's words, so that Gufei could not hear it at all. Ningyu called him in, but did not say anything. For a moment, Gufei was a little dumbfounded, but he could not stay here for too long. Thinking of his bedridden father, he clenched his teeth and said in a deep voice, What is it? Can you tell me now? Tell me everything you know about Wan Chongqing. Ning, you did not want to talk nonsense, so he went straight to the point. Wan Chongqing. Gufei was a little stunned. After a while he said, He is the shopkeeper of Snow Pavilion, and his strength is in the middle stage of true martial realm. Right, I heard that Wan Chongqing is going to do something big recently. Raising his eyebrows, Ningyu asked, What is it? Shaking his head, Gufei said, I don't know the specifics. I only know that he will leave Wuta City tomorrow and enter the Miao Forest. Miao Forest? Ningyu's face changed, and he was a little surprised. He had a certain understanding of the Miao Forest. The Miao Forest was located to the east of Wuta City. It was a very large forest with many trees and demon beasts. The most important thing was that the direction of the Miao Forest happened to be the direction where the 2 corpse sect men went yesterday. It was very likely that young Master Luo of the corpse sect was also in the Miao Forest. How do you know? Ningyu said in a deep voice. To be honest, he did not believe Gufei. This matter is absolutely true. It has long been known in the death arena. Afraid that Ningyu would not believe him, Gufei hurriedly said, 3 days ago, Wan Chongcheng went to the underground deathmatch arena and used a large sum of money to hire the top 3 martial artists on the deathmatch list, asking them to go with him to the Miao Forest tomorrow. What is your rank in the death arena? Ningyu asked with a frown. Around 50. Gufei said, because my cultivation is only at the peak of Xiantian realm. I am only around 50 on the death arena. Most of the top 50 on the deathmatch list are at the true martial realm. What is the strength of the top 3 martial artists? Ningyu continued. The top 3 martial artists are all at the peak of the true martial realm. Their strength should be half a step into the Yuan Dan realm. Gufei said, in fact, the death arena was similar to the innate realm battle list. Every once in a while, a ranking would be released. Of course, the innate realm battle list recorded all the Xiantian experts of the entire Dexia kingdom, while the death arena only recorded the experts of the Wuta City death arena. Moreover, the death arena did not have many restrictions. As long as one's cultivation was lower than the Yuan Dan realm, and they had completed a certain number of battles in the death arena, they could be listed. Ningyu, are you going to the Mio forest tomorrow? Beside him, Lu Wei revealed a worried look and said, although you are very strong, Wan Chongcheng must be prepared. I advise you not to get involved in this mess. Chapter 197. To ensure Uncle Wen's safety, we must send a primal core practitioner. With a slightly serious expression, Ningyu said in a low voice, Wan Chongqing is sinister and cunning. We must be on our guard. Dong, dong, dong. Just as Ningyu finished speaking, there was an urgent knock on the door. Hearing this, Ningyu's expression changed. With a flick of his sleeve, the absolute soul sword appeared in his hand. He released his soul perception, but when Ningyu discovered that it was a fat young man at the door, he retracted his perception. Creak! Arriving at the door, he slowly opened it. Ningyu asked, Who are you looking for? The fat man could not be bothered to speak to Ningyu. The moment the door opened, he shifted his gaze to Gufei and hurriedly said, Big brother Go, something has happened to Uncle Ge. Quickly go back and take a look. Pa. Gu Fei's eyes widened and his expression became extremely ugly. What's going on? What happened to my father? Just now, a group of powerful people came to your house and took Uncle Gu away. The fat man was so anxious that he was about to cry. Sister Ling was also taken away by them. Big brother Gu, quickly think of a way. If you delay any longer, I'm afraid something will happen to Sister Ling and Uncle Ge. Damn it! Gu Fei's aura burst out, his fists clenched, his eyes almost bursting out of anger. Let's go! I'm going to kill these bandits! Wait. Meanwhile, Ningyu took a step forward and blocked Gu Fei's path, and he said, Do you know who they are? Acting rashly at this time will only make things worse. Ningyu is right. We have to at least find out who took your father and the others away, echoed Lu Wei. Let me ask you, do you know who those people are? Ning, you looked at the fat man and said in a low voice, I don't know who they are, but I saw very clearly that on their shoulders there was a piece of white cloth with the word death written on it. The fat man tried hard to recall. Death Arena. The anger on Gu Fei's face deepened as soon as the fat boy finished speaking. He said viciously, The Death Arena. Those people are from the Death Arena. They must have brought my father to the Death Arena. I'm going to the Death Arena now. In Crow Guide City, the Death Arena could be considered to be the trump card of the underground powers, and it was sufficient to be ranked in the top 3 of the underground powers. The people of the Death Arena were very particular in how they did things. As long as it was their people doing something, they would definitely have a piece of white cloth on their shoulders with a blood-red word death written on it. Gu Fei, don't be rash. While stabilizing Gu Fei, Ningyu asked the fat man, How did you know Gu Fei was here? The fat boy was taken aback and immediately said, I met Shopkeeper One on the way, and he told me that Brother Gu was here. Shopkeeper One, are you the shopkeeper of the Snow Domain Pavilion? Ningyu raised his eyebrows and asked calmly, Yes, it's him. Manager one of the Snow Pavilion branch. 10,000 Layer City. Fatty nodded and said, It's him. At this moment, Gu Fei seemed to understand everything. It was impossible for 10,000 Layer City to have such a good heart. He must have been involved in this matter, perhaps even the mastermind. Although he had guessed some clues, Gu Fei could not do anything, because if he wanted to save his father and sister, the only way was to go to the Death Arena. There was no other way. After pondering for a moment, Ningyu said, How about this? Gu Fei and I will go to the Death Arena together. Lu Wei will stay here and look after Uncle Wen. No, the Death Arena is too dangerous. You can't go. Lu Wei was very clear about the degree of danger in the Death Arena. With Ningyu's strength, wanting to save people was tantamount to a fool's talk. Moreover, this matter could be a trap set by 10,000 Layer City, deliberately luring Ningyu to go. Moreover, Gu Fei had also said that 10,000 Layer City had already used a large sum of money to hire the top 3 martial artists of the death arena list. Perhaps at this time, they were already waiting for Ningyu in the death arena. There was one more point, which was also the most important point. Once Ningyu left, Uncle Wen's safety would not be guaranteed. Lu Wei guessed that this matter could very well be 10,000 Layer City's plan to lure the tiger away from the mountain. This is a little troublesome. Ningyu fell into deep thought. How could he not know that this matter was fishy? Moreover, 10,000 Layer City was a sinister and cunning person. This matter was most likely targeted at him. The top 3 martial artists of the death arena list, if Hong Mo and Dark Emperor were here, Ningyu would not be afraid of them. He could only blame Hong Mo and Dark Emperor for not being here. On one hand, Ningyu had to ensure Uncle Wen's safety. On the other hand, he had to think of a way to save Gufei's family. Oh right, we can send Uncle Wen to the Pill Refining Union. Suddenly, Ningyu's eyes lit up and he said, "Let's send Uncle Wen to the Alchemy Union's Grandmaster Tong. Even if Wan Chongcheng has guts, he wouldn't dare to barge into the Alchemy Union." This is a good idea, but Lu Wei was still worried. "You said that Uncle Wen should not be moved, he needs to rest." "I'm going to faint. I did say that he should not be moved, but I didn't say that he could not be moved at all." Rolling his eyes, Ningyu said, "Moving a short distance should not be a problem. Moreover, this is the best solution for now. Sending him to the Pill Refining Union is much safer than staying here." Ningyu did things swiftly and decisively, and Lu Wei was not an indecisive person. They immediately brought Wen out of the inn and walked towards the Pill Refining Union. The Pill Refining Union was not far from the inn that Ningyu and the rest were staying at. After walking a few streets, they arrived at the entrance of the Pill Refining Union. "The 2 of you, are you looking for Master Tong again?" Su Yin had just left the front desk and arrived at the entrance of the Pill Refining Union. When she raised her head, she saw Ningyu and the rest. Slightly stunned, Su Yin's face lit up. "That's great. Master Tong has specially asked me to look for you. It seems like our hearts are connected." "Yes, your hearts are connected with him." Lu Wei curled her lips and said, Ningyu was a little embarrassed and quickly said, "Bring us to see Master Tong. We have something to ask of him." "Master Tong is currently refining pills. If you don't mind, you can wait in the guest room for a while," Su Yin said with a blushing face. "There's no need. Let's go straight to the pill refining room." Ningyu knew that Gufei must be very anxious at this moment. He did not want to waste any time and directly brought Wen into the pill refining room. Standing at the entrance of the pill refining room, Ningyu frowned. This was because he could sense that Master Tong had just started refining pills, and the pills he was refining were energy-restoring pills. "Master Tong, I have something to ask of you. I wonder if you have the time now?" Ningyu said in a deep voice after pondering for a moment. "Get lost, I'm now." You're Ningyu." In the pill refining room, Master Tong had just thrown the cauldron into the air and was about to throw the medicinal ingredients into the cauldron when he heard a voice entering his ears. He was about to lose his temper, but when he heard the owner of the voice, he was slightly stunned. Then he opened the door with a creak. "Kid, what are you doing here now? Can't you see that I'm refining the energy-restoring pills?" Looking at Ningyu outside the door, Master Tong rolled his eyes and said, "How about this? You messed up my cauldron of energy-restoring pills, so you must return me a cauldron of supreme-grade energy-restoring pills. Otherwise, I won't let you off." Hearing Master Tong's words, Ningyu's face darkened. What did he mean by messing up his cauldron of energy-restoring pills? He had clearly just started refining the energy-restoring pills and did not suffer any losses at all. However, when he remembered that he needed Master Tong's help, Ningyu used his soul power and a soft voice entered Master Tong's ears. Chapter 198. Supreme Grade Recovery Pill. Master Tong stared at Ningyu in disbelief, as if he had seen a ghost. Master Tong was already very excited when he refined a supreme grade recovery pill previously. Now that Ningyu said that he would help him refine a supreme grade recovery pill, how could he not be shocked? However, after the shock, Master Tong's face was filled with disbelief. He felt that Ningyu was playing with him. Seeing Grandmaster Tong's appearance, Ningyu did not waste any more words. He got straight to the point and said, "I have some matters to attend to. I hope that you can leave a place for me to leave Uncle Win here to recuperate." "Uncle Win? The person next to you, right?" Master Tong raised an eyebrow when he saw the middle-aged man next to Ningyu. "No wonder you wanted to buy the meridian repairing pill for me. So it's for him." Master Tong was a 5th grade alchemist, and his soul power had reached the mid-stage of the 5th grade. Naturally, he could sense Wen An's condition. However, Master Tong was a little doubtful because he could see that Wen An's broken meridians had just been reconnected, combined with the meridian repairing pill that Ningyu had bought from him. Could it be that Ningyu had helped Wen An reconnect his meridians? Reconnecting meridians was a huge project that required a lot of soul power. A little carelessness could lead to failure. 3 days. As long as you can let him stay here for 3 days, I can tell you some of the special details that my master told me. I can guarantee that you will be able to refine the Transcendent Vitality Restoration Pill. Ningyu stretched out 3 fingers and lied without even blinking. "Deal. Come and see me here in 3 days." Snapping his fingers, Master Tong said, "I hope you won't disappoint me." Nodding, Ningyu left Wen An here and headed out of the Alchemist Association with Lu Wei and Gu Fei. However, just as he walked to the door, Ningyu stopped in his tracks and said in a deep voice, "Lu Wei, why don't you stay here and take care of Uncle Win? I'll go with Gu Fei to the underground deathmatch arena." "Ningyu, don't say any more. No matter what, I will go with you to the death arena, unless you don't want to go as well." Lu Wei's tone was very firm. Since that was the case, Ningyu did not say anything more and followed Gu Fei towards the underground arena. The underground deathmatch arena was one of the top 3 underground forces in Wutuo City. It was just a name, it wasn't really built underground. Gu Fei was very clear about the location of the deathmatch arena. After all, he had mingled in the underground deathmatch arena for a long time and was ranked around 50th on the deathmatch ranking. After passing through several streets and bypassing several alleys, Ningyu and the others finally stopped in front of a luxurious palace. Early stage of true martial realm. Sensing the cultivation of the 2 martial artists in front of the palace, Ningyu's eyes slightly narrowed and he was slightly surprised. The underground deathmatch arena was worthy of being one of the top 3 underground forces in Wutuo City. Even the martial artists guarding the door were at the early stage of true martial realm. Gu Fei took a step forward and took out the token that he carried with him and handed it to a martial artist in front of the door. After checking the token, the martial artist at the early stage of true martial realm returned the token to Gu Fei and said, "Today's situation is a little special. Pay attention." As Gu Fei had been going here every day for 3 months in a row, the 2 martial artists guarding the door were more familiar with him. "Thank you for the reminder. Today, I'm not here to earn high-grade essence crystals, but to look for someone." After saying this, Gu Fei quickly walked into the palace. Ningyu and Lu Wei followed behind Gu Fei and also entered the palace. As for the fat boy, he turned back halfway. After all, the underground deathmatch arena was not a place he could come to. It seems that shopkeeper one was right. Gu Fei really came, and he didn't come alone. The young lady and that martial artist are here. After Ningyu and the others entered the palace, not far away, 2 martial artists were talking. One of the late-stage Xiantian martial artists said, "Should we go back and inform shopkeeper Wan?" The other Xiantian Great Perfection martial artist frowned and said, Shopkeeper Juan is preparing to go to the Mio forest. It's not good to disturb him now. But I feel that the young man behind Gafei is very strong. The late-stage Xiantian martial artist said with some worry. Strong? No matter how strong he is, can he be stronger than the top 10 martial artists on the death arena list? The perfected Xiantian martial artist was somewhat disapproving and said disdainfully, Shopkeeper One has already arranged everything. Although the top 3 martial artists on the death arena list are not here, the 4th to 10th martial artists are all here. Even if that martial artist has great ability, he will still die in the death arena. So Shopkeeper One has arranged everything. Then what should we do now? The late-stage Xiantian martial artist said with a long breath. The corner of the Xiantian Great Perfection martial artist's mouth curled up. He said, it's very simple. Since Lu Wei and that martial artist are here, it means that winning is very easy to win. Let's go there immediately. Swoosh! Swoosh! As soon as he finished speaking, the 2 martial artists' figures flashed, and they dashed toward the inn. Wild Bull, go! I bet 1,000 upper-grade essence crystals on you. Don't drop the ball at this critical moment. Trash, really trash. You can't even beat a martial artist ranked 300th on the death arena list. You're ranked 290th on the death arena list. If Lu Tong wins this match, he will probably be ranked in the top 200 of the death arena list, right? In the death arena, all kinds of voices mix together, giving people an extremely shocking feeling. Ningyu frowned a little because he discovered that most of the martial artists on the death arena were at the early stage and mid-stage of the Xiantian realm. There were even fewer late-stage Xiantian realm martial artists. This is the outer death arena's death arena. The duels of the top 100 on the death arena list are carried out here. Seeing Ningyu's doubt, Gofei explained, as for the duels of the top 100, they are all carried out in the inner death arena. The inner death arena? Ningyu said with a frown. Gofei, I didn't expect you to arrive so quickly. At this moment, a laughter sounded. Then a thin man appeared in front of Gofei and the others. He said, let's go. Deacon Pang has been waiting for a long time. Deacon Pang. Hearing the thin man's words, Gufei's face changed and instantly sank. Deacon Pang's position in the death arena was relatively high. Among the deacons, he could be ranked in the top 10. His cultivation was also at the peak of the true martial realm. He had never interacted with Deacon Pang before. Now that Deacon Pang wanted to meet him, it was most likely related to his father and sister. Lead the way. Taking a deep breath, Gufei tried his best to calm himself down. Especially at this moment, he knew that he could not lose his composure. It's nothing. Patting Gufei's shoulder, Ningyu said in a deep voice, let's go meet Deacon Pang first. Thank you. Nodding his head, Gufei said, you don't need to thank me. This time my main purpose is to investigate 10,000 Layer City. If I find out that your information is false, I will be the first to deal with you. Shrugging his shoulders, Ningyu said indifferently. Regarding Gufei's family matters, Ningyu did not want to get involved. However, through Gufei, he could find out more information about 10,000 Layer City. Therefore, Ningyu decided to help him. Gufei also understood this point. After all, in this world, there were only 2 kinds of people who would help others for no reason. First, they were saints. Second, they were fools. Ningyu was neither saints nor fools. This meant that there was a reason for him to help him. No matter what, since Ningyu had decided to help him, it was better than having no one to help him. 3 minutes later, Gufei passed through the outer death arena and entered the inner death arena. Swoosh! However, standing at the entrance of the inner death arena, Gufei's face was ashen. His fists were clenched so tightly that he did not even notice that his nails were digging into his flesh. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.